Darvish. He is back with the Padres. What kind of shot in the arm is that for the team? Not just when he returns, but right now getting back in that clubhouse. But we are at Naughty Barrel. We've told you about it all season long. You can't have a nicer day for baseball, or just in general. It's 75 degrees. We're going to be here until 6. If you have tickets to the game, get here before the game and pregame with us. They have happy hour specials. Then even if you don't have tickets to the game, start your weekend here. We're at 9th and Market, a block and a half from Petco Park. It's indoor, outdoor. It's a great spot. And what do they have going on here today, Jim?
Happy hour specials starting at 4 p.m. Smoked turkey, smoked brisket sandwiches, smoked turkey and smoked brisket plates, house-made sides and barbecue sauces. Got macaroni salad, potato salad, black-eyed peas, Texas barbecue sauces, Kentucky barbecue sauces. Come here to the Naughty Barrel today, starting at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. happy hour. They are also nominated for the best barbecue on the Reader's Best of 2024. Voting ends in 7 days next weekend.
How do we vote? Because I'll vote right now.
Well, go to the San Diego Reader's Best of 2024.
Okay.
Reader's poll, and you can vote the Naughty Barrel best barbecue in town, also best barbecue.
Yeah, it's really the best.
It's the best. Yes.
Okay, so get to the Naughty Barrel. Padres, okay, the bad news is they've lost 2 straight. Now, every team in baseball has lost 2 straight in the second half. The Padres are the last team to have not done it. They've now lost 2 straight. They've allowed 1 million runs the last 2 games on 1 million hits. That's the bad news. The good news is what we told you yesterday. Fernando Tatis Jr. has begun baseball activities in spring. And then today, the news that I think a lot of people were expecting, we've hinted at it and talked about this. This is always a possibility, maybe even the most likely path here. Yu Darvish, 38 years of age. He's been out due to personal reasons. He has been activated and put on the IL, but he's been reinstated to the active roster, the Major League roster. He will ramp up in an effort to return to the Padres. So serious good news, even with the losses. Losses aren't good. But Fernando Tatis Jr. yesterday, Yu Darvish hopefully beginning a ramp up. He's at Petco Park today. Those two hopefully returning at some point in September, if not sooner.
It's a shot in the arm for sure. And you need those over the course of a season because it's so freaking long. You need to have shots in the arm at certain points. And when you're in the dog days like this, late August, getting ready for the stretch run in September, you need shots in the arm.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a shot in the arm. I mean, Jurickson Profar, he spoke to the media just moments ago. You could see how excited he is about Yu Darvish being back. He's not officially back yet. I know some people are like, wait, if you say he's back, then why isn't he going to be activated and pitching here in 5 days or so? Well, they have to get him ready to go. He was on the restricted list, and he was on the IL before the restricted list. They brought him.
Was he on the IL before the restricted list?
Yes. So he went on the IL. Then he went on the restricted list after that with personal issues.
But did he go on the IL for a baseball-related injury? I don't remember that.
It's been so long.
You know what I mean? I don't remember him not being healthy. I just remember him making a start.
He was on the IL before he went on the restricted list. I know
but
that.
It's not like a Musgrove situation where it's like, oh, he had bone spurs he was dealing with.
No. I don't know what
I don't remember
it
being
for.
Anything.
Maybe
they knew that something was going to happen down the pipeline. I think it might have been IL then immediately restricted.
Well, when you bring him off the restricted list, you can't like activate him right away. You got to make.
Well, he's not built up.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
so
of course not.
He got put on the IL today after being reinstated from the restricted list. So now he's a part of the active roster, or at least part of the 40-man roster. And he's back with the team today, which is the boost that I'm talking about, the shot in the arm, because everybody loves Yu Darvish. We love Yu Darvish. The team loves Yu Darvish. Every fan loves Yu Darvish. How could you not love Yu? That clubhouse and in that dugout until he can return here pretty soon, I would think, to get back on the mound and pitch for this team.
Well, a couple of people saying in the chat earlier he had pain in his hip. Someone said he had a groin strain. I don't remember what it was. He's been dealing with back. He's been dealing with groin. It's been 3 months. So now that he's back with the team, I think typically the ramp up for a pitcher is a little longer than a position player. Although if you look at Joe Musgrove as an example, he came back immediately. We're like, where's Joe Musgrove? It was sim game, rehab, big leagues. That played out in 10 days. So if Darvish follows something similar, which is get on a mound in Arizona within a handful of days, make a rehab start, and then return, you could be looking at something like 15 days or less, which puts you still in early September. It may coincide with potential return for Fernando Tatis Jr., who, again, doesn't have to wait 5 days between a start like Yu Darvish would have to do. I think it's significant to get him in the clubhouse and back with his team. He's embracing, for example, with Jurickson Profar this afternoon on field. But I think that the greatest significance of this, that when he is healthy, he's capable of being something like a top 15 starter in the National League, a top 10 starter, even at his best. He's capable of posting a 3 ERA, working deep into games. He's been among the better pitchers in baseball for a good bulk of his major league career. If you can get him back, then you start thinking about this rotation with Darvish, with Musgrove, pairing it with Dylan Cease and Michael King, and you get a little bit more about Matt Waldron's struggles, about what's going on at the back of the rotation. You've got more than you've got Darvish and Musgrove.
I think it was AJ after like 2 years ago. It might have been Kevin. So, one of the reporters, Kevin, AJ, and to think that of everything that's gone on with this rotation this season, from the start of the year to Joe and his IL stints, Darvish and his IL stints, and kind of going through a flux where Matt Waldron was your best pitcher at one point, and us talking about the minute you can trade for certain pitchers, trade deadline for 2 months. But at the end of the year, they could go into a postseason run with what they started with and hope to have for a majority or all of the season, which is Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, and Joe Musgrove as your 1, 2, 3 in a potential postseason.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I think Michael King's been great, but if all things are equal, and you've got a $100 million pitcher, Joe Musgrove, who's been there before. If you've got a $100 million plus pitcher, Yu Darvish, who's been there before. You're telling me Musgrove's not pitching the best of 3 series? If that happens, or Darvish isn't probable the best of 3 series. That's hard for me to envision. Now they got to be healthy. They have to be right. But if Darvish comes back and posts a 3 ERA over 4 starts, he's starting one of the 3 games. If Musgrove pitches to a 3.5 ERA from now until the end of the regular season, he's probable in one of those 3 games, and that's a good problem to have with someone like
Michael King has probably been your most consistent pitcher overall. Dylan Cease would say is your best pitcher overall, but he hasn't had his best season. But Michael King has had the best season of any starter.
So do it for me, because I want to know your real pitchers. Hear me out. They're all healthy to finish the season.
All healthy.
They're all pitching effectively enough. Not all the same. But let's just say between a 3 and a 4 ERA for those 4 pitchers over a month. Okay. So 2.5 to 4 ERA. Maybe one pitcher a month, sure, if you want. But if all are healthy and all effective, relatively speaking, between a 3 and a 4 ERA, who's your 4th starter?
It's a good question. It's a good problem.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he'd be on the active roster if I'm wrong. Probably
just on paper, yeah, you could say Michael. But what if he is pitching the best? What if he is pitching the best going into the postseason? Are you going to trust the guy that has been there all year long to get it done, or are you going to trust the credentials of a guy like Yu Darvish, who may have 4 starts up into the postseason? Like, I don't know which way you go. You go matchups, who has better matchups, who has a better career number versus whatever team you face. But at this point in time, it's a good problem to have. You'll get to those conversations down the road. And by the way, if you're chasing the division, 4.5 out, a lot. Or you're chasing that, you have a real shot to secure the 4th seed in home field against the Diamondbacks that week. Well, you have now a pretty good rotation where you're not burning everybody in one series and left with like Walton and Vasquez to start game 1 and 2. That wouldn't happen. But to get my point, you can maybe pick Yu Darvish in that series. You can be comfortable with having Michael King go in a game 2 of a postseason series.
Man, that is tough, but I don't think I can live with I can't live with the other side of that and lose a series in the postseason and say, why did you pick Yu Darvish? Like, if he's healthy heading into the postseason, I don't think you can then finish your offseason and lose a wild card series and then be asked about why Yu Darvish picked that series. That's $100 million plus. He's never going to be better in theory than now. He's 38. He's not getting younger. He's been dealing with personal issues. It's somewhat remarkable he's even going to be back. A lot of Padres fans probably didn't think it was going to happen. So the fact that he is going to return is a real positive. And I guess these are good problems. And the truth is, they're not all going to be pitching effectively. They won't all be having the exact same September. Someone will have a better September. Someone will have a worse September. I would just be surprised if Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish weren't in a postseason rotation. That would surprise me personally.
It would surprise me too, especially if you are getting 4 or 5 starts here in September, and you look pretty good doing it. Because if you do, you're right. Are they going to be like, yeah, you know what? Yu Darvish pitched 4 effective starts in September, and he looked pretty good. But guess what? He's not going to be in the postseason roster. He's not going to pitch a game.
Right.
But again, those are problems that I think the Padres are sitting there saying we would love to have.
It all sorts itself out. I always say that like problems like having a Donovan Solano sort themselves out, but that really hasn't. He's actually been on their bench and he's been a productive hitter. And you're saying to yourself, well, why aren't you getting productivity out of someone like Donovan Solano? But then again, even with the consecutive losses, there's something like 22-8 in the second half. So despite the last 2 days, and we'll talk about this on the other side, you have Joe Musgrove tonight against the Mets. Padres have finally lost 2 in a row. It's the first time they've done that in the second half. But here's the thing. Every team in baseball has lost 2 in a row as well. So here's what we're going to do. Kevin Acee joins us at 4:30. On the other side, we're going to give away Def Leppard tickets. So do not go anywhere. On the other side, we have Def Leppard tickets with Journey Summer Stadium Tour with the Steve Miller Band as well. That's Friday, August 30th at Petco Park. That is a week from tonight here downtown at Petco Park. We'll give those away on the other side. We'll get you ready for Joe Musgrove. Can he be a stopper against the Mets, who are undefeated this year against the Padres? More on the return of Yu Darvish and Kevin Acee. Our Padres insider joins us coming up at 4:30. It's Jon and Jim from the Naughty Barrel downtown 9th and Market. Stay with us on San Diego Sports 760.
Continuing live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, back with you, 9th and Market here, San Diego Sports 760. Jon and Jim until 6 p.m. Kevin Acee on the return of Yu Darvish. What is his timeline? Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, at 4:30. Within the next 10 minutes, we're giving away Def Leppard tickets. Be listening for your chance to win. So that is the good news. We've talked about it, obviously. You got Darvish hopefully coming back. You have Tatis hopefully coming back. Haven't really touched on the quote-unquote bad news. It's a 2-game losing streak. It happens. They have not played well the last couple of days, certainly from a pitching perspective. Jim, 35 hits allowed the last 2 games, and they turned to Joe Musgrove to try to avoid suffering their first 3-game losing streak of the second half tonight.
Yeah, we talked about how this was going to happen.
It was inevitable.
It's inevitable. You can't just roll off 50 of 60 to end your season.
Yeah.
You're going to have a little bit of a bump in the road. And while the 22-8 stretch now, right?
Yeah.
22-8 stretch, take away the last 2 games, 22-6 stretch was amazing. And the 19 of 22, best stretch in franchise history. Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to remember, majority of this season has been a roller coaster. The word that Mike Schilt hates us saying. It has been up and down. It has been losing streak, followed by winning streak, followed by losing streak, followed by winning streak. That's been the Padres this season. And to think that they were going to maintain that like 820 winning percentage for the rest of the year is wishful thinking. Now, to have that in a season, it's great. And a lot of great teams that you see that have 90-plus wins, more often than not, have those types of stretches. But when you look at the majority of a season, rarely do you see teams just plow through their way through the regular season. It happens every so often, and most often than not, the Dodgers are the ones that do it. But, this year, no team's going to win 110 games. No team maybe even wins 100 games this season. So to be where they're at is great. Now you just have to hope that the old Padres before this stretch, before the start of the second half, doesn't creep back in here before they get to September.
Yeah, I mean, they're 15 games over 500, and that's as good as you could really ask for a Padres team that was a 500 team until the All-Star break. But remember, Jim scared the hell out of me when he told me they're playing the Mets, and then they're playing the Cardinals. They're going to Tampa, and then in September, they're taking on teams that are either in it or have been decent in the second half. Detroit's been decent. San Francisco's been decent. Wheels have fallen off for the Mariners. But Astros, you still have Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Not an easy 30-plus game stretch. Now, I think the Padres are positioned to handle it. I think they've done very well dealing with adversity this year. Every single time they've been put up against a wall or whatever you want to use as a cliche, they've rebounded nicely. So nothing is, they haven't clinched anything. Truth be told, they haven't. And if they lose a series like this one to the New York Mets, they kind of open up a path for the Mets that maybe didn't exist 4 days ago. But nothing's been clinched. But despite all that being said, I think Padres fans should still feel good. Sky isn't falling. You've lost 2 straight games. But the truth is you're 22-8 in the last 30 games. That's way more impactful than 0-2 in the last 2 games.
You know what I'm surprised with today, John?
What's that?
Is that you not once, 22 minutes into the show, have blamed me for the last 2 nights.
Well, Jim did lock in the Padres for the postseason 2 days ago, and since then, the Padres have been outscored by 1 million. They've allowed 35 hits and maybe 19 runs.
Oh.
So, yes, you locked him in. I said I thought it was a little early.
I know.
I said I would wait for a couple of more series wins, and that's what I'm going to do.
I am not going to waver on that opinion.
When would you waver?
If they lost like 10 in a row?
Oh, well, I think before then.
Before then,
you'd
probably.
be wavering way before then. I promise you that.
I still feel confident that this team is going to make the postseason. I don't know if
I'm confident too. I'm just not locking it in.
I'm right there. I don't know if I'm as confident as I was maybe a couple of days ago at their chances to potentially win the division. Because, 4.5 is 4.5. Dodgers are playing really well. And, we're getting up 7 days here or 8 days until September. And you got to make up some ground. You cannot start September if you have any hopes of a division title 5 games back or 6 games back.
Yeah, probably not.
4 games back isn't a lot. But do you see the Dodgers tripping up in September? Maybe.
I mean, track record, if that's an indicator, probably
and
not.
they have
but
their 6 of their final 9 games against the Rockies.
yeah, I mean, you can't bank on that. The way to win this division is to somehow put together another 30 games like your last 30 games.
Then
I mean,
that's
but
gonna be hard,
when you say St. Louis and when you say Dodgers and Diamondbacks and
Right.
all of the teams that are to come here now, if there is a hope, like to finish 20-10 or whatever it is, I think Darvish helps in that. I think Musgrove helps in that. I think Tatis helps in that. But I think it's a little wishful to ask for this team to close 22-10. Like it really is. If they can just continue to play well, play over 500 from here on out, get into the postseason, you'd love to lock up the number 1 wildcard seed, get a home series out of it.
Yeah.
Listen, nobody's saying they can't win the division. They absolutely can, but they might have to play something like 22-10, 23-9, maybe even better than that to potentially win this division. That's going to be hard to do.
It will be hard to do. And even if the consolation prize, if you don't win the division, oh no, they get the 4 seed and they host a playoff series against the Diamondbacks. It's pretty good consolation. Like, I think a lot of people would take that right now. If I gave you if I said you have to take right now, no matter what, you get the 4 seed, you get home field in the wild card round, or do you take take your chances to see what happens for the division and whatnot, maybe the best record in the National League, but it's not guaranteed. But the 4 seed is guaranteed. What would you take?
Oh, well, hold on. So I'm guaranteed a 4 if I want to take it. I can just grab it right now. I'm the 4 seed with the home playoff series.
Yep.
Or I can press my luck.
Press your luck. We were just in Vegas, so
I'm pressing my luck.
You're pressing your luck.
It's too early. It's too early for me to take that 4 seed. I'm going to trust this team and my eyes and what I've seen, and I'm going to try to chase it down. Now, that might change in 2 days. If they lose the next 2 games and fall 6.5 out, I'll take that 4 seed. But right now, I think there's enough time to potentially make things interesting in the division.
That's so funny because, dude, a month ago, if I asked you the same question.
I know. I'm betting on the Padres, but maybe that's not the best bet historically, but they're also 22-8 in the second half.
Yeah.
You know?
And I still feel like they're closer to that team instead of the 2 games the last couple of days. Like the team that we saw the last 30 games now standing the last 2.
Yeah. Are they now 3-4 in the last 7?
Yeah, they lost 2 or 3 to the Rockies.
Then they won 2 out of 3.
2 or 3 there. They lost the first game versus the Mets. So what? They're 2, 4, 3 and 4. Yeah,
3 and 4 in their last 7 games.
Yeah.
Which again, every team in baseball has experienced
It
at some
is.
point this year. All right, we'll talk more about it on the other side. Again, the return of Yu Darvish. When will we see him? Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, will join us at 4:30. Also, with Matt Waldron being optioned, was it because of ineffectiveness or is he hurt? More on that on the other side. But right now, caller 7, you're going to see Def Leppard and Journey. It's the Summer Stadium Tour with special guest, the Steve Miller Band, Friday, August 30th at Petco Park. Amazing giveaway to caller 7 to 877-767-4760. Def Leppard tickets. Call right now, 877-767-4760. Caller 7, those are yours. It's Jon and Jim from the Naughty Barrel. Stay with us.
All right, this update is brought to you by Caltrans. Padres and Mets, game 2 of their 4-game series tonight at Petco Park. Padres have done something they haven't done all second half, which is lose back-to-back games as they lost last night to the Mets in game 1. Joe Musgrove on the mound tonight for the Padres, 6:40 first pitch, blocks away from Naughty Barrel at Petco Park. Good news for the Padres today, and it's the best news of the day. Yu Darvish, he has been reinstated from the restricted list. He has been placed back on the IL, but he is back with the Padres. He is back at Petco Park and back in that clubhouse tonight. Attention, California drivers, the kids of Caltrans workers count on you to keep their loved ones safe. So when you see a highway work zone, please slow down and pay attention. Remember, that's someone's loved one out there. Be work zone alert.
Live with the Friar Faithful, kicking off the weekend. We're at Naughty Barrel, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, here until 6 p.m. Jon and Jim, 9th at Market, Naughty Barrel, Padres Mets game 2, Petco Park coming up at 6:40 on this spectacular day for baseball. We're talking about the potential return of Yu Darvish, who has come off the restricted list and he's been placed on the IL in an effort to hopefully ramp up for some point in September. I'm sure we'll hear from Mike Schild at some point this afternoon as well. But again, Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, will join us coming up at 4:30. Now, this is coinciding with, we talked about late in the show yesterday, Matt Waldron's been optioned down. And you're thinking, oh, that's interesting. He made 26 starts for this team. Yeah, the wheels have fallen off here. But why was he optioned down? There was an interesting article today, and why can't I find it? Here it is. This was from Dennis Lin, where he's got a line in here that says, Waldron later acknowledged that his arm slot had dropped in recent weeks while hinting at some bulkiness in his throwing elbow. That from Dennis Lin today in The Athletic. Waldron acknowledging his arm slot is lower and he's had, quote-unquote, bulkiness in his throwing elbow. So maybe more than just the results is he's not fully healthy.
Makes sense.
They go hand in hand sometimes.
Sometimes you think so when you're injured.
Yeah.
And you pitch normally and you're like, okay, I got to fix it. So every time I throw, I'm not feeling that pain. And then it ends up hurting you and you're not pitching like you used to. So, it makes sense. Also, what it makes sense too is the guy has pitched more innings that he's ever pitched in his entire career in the bigs, minors included. And obviously, this year is, I guess, considered his rookie season since he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know how many innings he had last year, but it may be. I think you're probably right.
Maybe this is his rookie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe last year was considered his rookie year because he did pitch a good amount last season.
30 or 40 innings. I forget what the number is.
Yeah, I don't know what the total number you have to pitch to not be considered a rookie or the dates or whatever. But still, of course, it makes sense. Like, hey, this guy is been in the big leagues for not even 2 seasons so far. He's been in the minors for a lot of his time, and he's never pitched this many innings. So to think that that he's going to just plow through and throw 180 innings and be perfectly fine, it's probably wishful thinking.
Yeah, I agree with you. By the way, he is technically a rookie this year. It's anything less than 50 innings the prior year would qualify you as a rookie. He threw 41 1/3 a year ago, but you're right. The innings are 142 2/3 innings. If he's hurt, well, that's going to be a factor.
Yeah.
Even if he's not, quote unquote, hurt, you got to skip a turn here. Even with them sending him to AAA, you need to give him 10 days between starts, would be my guess. Give him the 5 days, then ramp up again to start, because the math isn't working on innings. And you don't want him throwing a ton of innings in AAA either, because you might need him in September in the major leagues. So, yeah, the innings are a huge factor for Matt Waldron.
So let me ask you this, and it's on our YouTube chat right now. A great point. Why not put him on the IL?
Maybe he eventually would end up on the IL. Why would they have optioned him as opposed to put him on the IL?
If he's got this bulky arm or whatever.
Bulky. Yeah, the exact line is he hinted at it.
And why have him pitch in the minors and waste up some innings? Now,
maybe he won't. Maybe he won't pitch in the minors. He can be optioned and placed on the IL. He could just take up a roster spot. It's written like this. He hinted at some bulkiness in his throwing elbow. Hinted at.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what that means.
And if his arm slot's a little messed up, I understand not putting him on the IL.
And just working on
it. We also don't want him to pitch innings in the minors if the innings is any type of thought in the mind of the Padres.
I heard an interesting thing. I don't know if it was a quote that I saw from Schild. I forget where I saw it, but it was something along the line of this. That, I mean, this simplifies it. Starters have to eat innings. Like, they're going to have to get all these innings from someone. So, like, yeah, it's a lot of innings for Waldron. Yeah, it's a lot of innings from King, but they're in the rotation. There's no real option. While they're in the rotation, you can't all of a sudden skip them or shorten them up to be only available for 75 pitches. You're in the rotation. You have to get length out of these guys. Now, I think the good thing the Padres have going for them that other teams don't is it's almost like you can substitute Waldron and Martin Perez for Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like most teams don't have that
They don't.
possibility, but it feels like the Padres, maybe they got lucky with it. Maybe it's happenstance. It feels like they're replacing a couple of guys with a couple of like all-star veteran capable pitchers in the late portion of the year.
And that's a huge credit to the team to get them to the spot in position.
Exactly.
So then now you can be like, okay, you guys did the heavy lifting.
Yes.
Let us take everybody home here with Darvish and Musgrove back in this rotation. But we also, don't know what Yu's going to look like. I have faith in Yu just because he's a vet. He's been there before. He knows what he has to do to get his body ready. You just trust Yu Darvish out there. But I wouldn't expect him to all of a sudden give you 6 every single time out.
I agree.
Right away. He's going to have to build back up.
Absolutely.
Also, we don't know really the circumstances of his personal matter, which, again, we don't have to know it. But we also don't know if he has been throwing a lot. I know he ramped it up here a little bit as of late, but we don't know, like, where he's at physically.
It's true.
Because whatever he was dealing with was a million times more important than baseball. And I hope everything's okay. And it seems like if he's back, things are better off now to be able to come back to the Padres.
I mean, in 56 to third innings this year for Yu Darvish, he had allowed 45 hits. This guy, when healthy, is an elite pitcher. He had a 1 whip in 11 starts. He's a highly effective starting pitcher that isn't only highly effective, he gives you innings a lot. Like, he hasn't been Blake Snell in his career. He's been Yu Darvish. He can go 6, 7+ innings routinely. Now, you're right. His first time out, it's going to be 70 pitches. His second time out, it's going to be 80 pitches. Then hopefully the reins come off. I just go back to what we were talking about in the first segment of the show about 30 minutes ago. If Yu Darvish finishes the regular season healthy, if Joe Musgrove finishes the regular season healthy, if you're playing a best-of-3 series here or somewhere else, they are probable pitchers in my rotation. I would be very surprised otherwise, just because. Like, I don't even have all the reasons. You're right on Michael King. We know Dylan Cease is in that rotation, and you are right on Michael King, and I agree with it. I can't not have Joe Musgrove in my rotation if I'm A.J. Preller or Mike Shilton and live with that if I don't win a series.
What if Michael King is pitching great?
That's the one caveat. If he closes the season with a 1-1 in his last 4 starts.
So what if Michael King is pitching great and Yu Darvish is pitching okay, Joe Musgrove is pitching okay, and Dylan Cease is pitching okay? Then what do you do?
Oh, Jim, you asked the hard questions.
I mean, like, you're going to have to make it. If Michael King is at the end of the season your best pitcher and pitching really well, and you got to choose between Cease, Musgrove, and Darvish, man, that's a tough decision.
It is a really tough decision. So, like, okay, King.
You can't leave Cease out.
No, Cease isn't going to be left out. So, King in his last, wow, he's been really good.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
King since June 29th is really good. I'm clicking here. Come on, Baseball Reference. You know how he sometimes doesn't pull up? Like, you know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah.
I remember my first time doing this. Anyway, he's been really good.
I did too.
He's been really good.
Just look on MLB.com here real quick.
No, not really.
Okay, I can do it in a couple seconds.
No, you can't.
No, I can't.
But you won't pull my exact stat I'm looking for.
You're looking at the exact stats since a certain date?
Yep.
Yeah.
His last 8 starts is what I want. Here it is. Here it is. Listen to this. The team is 7-1 in his last 8 starts. And he's got a 2.08 in 8 starts.
Yeah, he's been really freaking
I got to have this guy in my rotation.
Yeah, and you were saying that he shouldn't be
Well, I just don't know what
Darvish and Musgrove are healthy.
Yeah, well, you could tell you, Darvish, hey, thanks for coming back. Thanks for dealing with your personal matter for 3 months. I'm glad that you could watch this wild card series against Arizona.
Well, you also would have a conversation, and I'm sure he would agree with you. Whatever is best for the team I'm willing to do that. If you need me to come out of the bullpen, I'll do that. If you want me to start, I'll do that. I think you have a team of guys in there that are all pulling on that rope that I've talked about a lot, and whatever it takes to win. Doesn't matter. Like, hey, you a guy that has been a starter for his entire career, the credentials, and he's been amazing. Hey, we need you in the bullpen. You think Darvish is going to be upset about that? No, he's going to do whatever it takes to win. He's going to be like, yes, I came back to try to help this team win. I came back to do whatever it is possible. You don't think so? You don't think Darvish would be okay with that?
I mean, not that he wouldn't publicly, but come on.
Darvish
has been a starter since he was 19 in Japan.
I also think Darvish is the type of player, the type of guy that isn't going to cause any problems, and he's going to do whatever is needed of him to do.
That doesn't make it right.
Well,
you know what I mean?
What makes it right is putting your best guys out there.
What makes it right is in his 277 Major League appearances, he's never come out of the bullpen.
Okay.
So now all of a sudden, hey, it's game 3 against the Diamondbacks. We need you in the 5th? No.
I'm just throwing out scenarios, John.
I know, but I'm just telling you, I don't see that as highly likely.
Okay.
A guy that's never pitched in relief ever.
Well, the most important thing is tonight, Joe Musgrove versus the Mets. We all know the history there. It's his 3rd start since coming back off the IL. Tonight, to me, is like the take the next step start.
For Musgrove, yeah, he's got to be able to give you like 90-plus pitches. I'm taking these reins off. You got to go deeper into this game. He's been good his first time, 2 times out, and you got to find a way to beat the New York Mets. Again, is the season on the line? Of course not. You can't start 0-5 against the New York Mets this year, and you can't feel good about the next 2 days if you do. So this is the day the Padres could really use a win behind Joe Musgrove. All right, we are at the Naughty Barrel downtown. We have great tickets to give away. Kevin Acee is going to join us coming up at 4:30. Chris Russo, Mad Dog, taking us back to the year of 2016 and talking San Diego sports. You'll hear from Chris Russo on the other side. Kevin Acee will join us at 4:30. It's Jon and Jim.
Live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, back with you, Naughty Barrel, downtown 9th and Market. What a day, what a spot. We are here until 6. Happy hour is about to get started, Jim. What do we have going on over the next couple of hours here at the Naughty Barrel as we get you ready for Padres and Mets?
Yeah, we have a lot. Starts at 4 p.m. We got some smoked turkey and smoked brisket sandwiches, smoked turkey and smoked brisket plates, house-made sides and barbecue sauces. They got the macaroni salad, the potato salad, the black-eyed peas and collard greens with bacon and smoked sausage, Texas barbecue sauces, Kentucky barbecue sauces. Get on down here. 4 p.m. is when happy hour starts, 4 to 6. We are here until 6 p.m. I know they're going to bring over some happy hour specials to us.
I need to ask
mostly
you
for me to sample because
they don't have tofu barbecue.
You don't eat brisket or turkey.
Can I ask a serious question? What are black-eyed peas?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't really know exactly.
Okay. So they have them, though. So get here.
Black peas, John.
Black peas. I like that.
Black peas, yeah.
All right. So happy hour is getting started in 10 minutes. If you have tickets to the game, come by and join us. If you don't have tickets to the game.
The band, John. Black Eyed Peas.
I know. That's why I asked. Come by and join us regardless. Tickets or not. They've got the game on, obviously, starting at 6:40. Start your weekend with us here, 9th and Market, downtown at the Naughty Barrel. It could not be a nicer day here in San Diego. All right. As you'd expect here on August 23rd, 2024, of course, Chris Russo is talking about the Chargers' move from San Diego to L.A. It just makes sense.
Very topical.
It's very topical. It's extremely relevant.
Right.
So Chris Russo decided today on ESPN on First Take with Stephen A. to go on a tangent about the Chargers leaving San Diego for Los Angeles, which would have been kind of proper maybe 8 years ago. But if you missed it, here's what he had to say today on ESPN.
I was driving in here. I was driving to that. This is in downtown Los Angeles this morning at 6 o'clock, and I was looking at the city. And I asked a couple of people when I got out of the car. I says, "Does anybody care about the Chargers here?" And I love the Chargers, but the Chargers have look at all the other fan bases. The fact that owner, Spanos, decided to move to L.A. to rent a stadium. Look at this. They never have a home game. This is a joke. Why are the Chargers playing football in Los Angeles? They should be in San Diego. I know I'm a little late with this. They can bring George Hallison and Lombardi. I don't care about Harbaugh. Nobody cares. They have no fan base. Nobody in L.A. cares. They care about LeBron. They care about the Dodgers and a little about the Rams. They don't even care that much about the Clippers, and they got their own arena this year. But the Chargers playing their home football games in L.A. is so stupid and asinine. The fact that the Chargers are still not in San Diego, that is a complete foul-up, and Spanos did a horrendous job leaving. Now, you're going to sit there and tell me you got a sweetheart deal? He couldn't get a new stadium in San Diego? Listen, when you don't have the leverage, which he did not have the leverage in San Diego, you can't pick up and leave, basically like the kid who doesn't get picked in a basketball game in the playground and picks up his basketball and goes home so nobody can play. You can't do that to your franchise. So now the Chargers are playing 150 miles to the north in a city that has no interest in them. They could care less. Harvard they don't care about. The defense, nobody. The Chargers are going to play the next 50 years, Steve, in a city that's going to sell out and have more fans for the opposing team than the Chargers, who basically got to take timeouts on offense because the defensive chance from the fan base. This is a mess, the Chargers here in L.A.
Takes from 2016?
Yeah, 2016.
We've heard the take.
Yeah, 2016, 2017 call. They want their take back.
He got so mad. Like, where you been the last 8 years?
Like, dude,
if you're going to get so mad.
This is literally what's been
We've
said
talked about this for forever.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times almost a decade ago. Like,
a decade. Isn't that crazy?
It's 2025 in what? 3-4 months? Like, this happened in 2016, 2017?
Yeah, the end of the 2016 season, it was over.
What I will say about, like, good for Mad Dog to say that today, and not because anything will ever change, but I don't want that take to ever go away because it's the truth. I don't want just people to say, oh, it's whatever. Like, I'm glad that take that we just listened to, which is the take that everybody's had for since 2017, has not died yet, and it will continue to go forever and ever and ever, because that franchise is irrelevant and will always be irrelevant, and nothing will ever change that.
I agree with that. The one thing I've always said makes the move the most unique move in American Big Four sports history. Hear me out on this. The most for any other move. Only example I can think of a team relocating somewhere where they haven't been accepted.
They're not wanted.
Like if you move the Phoenix Coyotes to Salt Lake, people in Salt Lake get excited.
They love it.
If you moved, I mean, I'm making this up. Nobody really, you don't want to lose an NFL team to another market, but then get one from a market. But people would be thrilled I'm making it up. If the Houston Texans moved to San Diego, people in San Diego would be thrilled. They wouldn't be like, I don't want the Texans. Or if the Clippers moved to San Diego, nobody would say, I don't think, by and large, I don't want the Clippers. But the Chargers are like the only instance of a team that nobody wanted when they moved. That's what makes it so ridiculous. And of course, for San Diego and for San Diegans, it's utterly absurd as well. But nobody asked for them, yet they're still there. Nobody wanted them, yet they're still there.
Yeah, the take is just out of left field because
it's so random.
It's very random.
When I saw it on my timeline, I'm like, what is
Friday
this?
On August 23rd?
It's not even the regular season.
2024? Like, huh? But at least it's still being said because it's true. And I hope that it continues to be said forever. And I think it will be. I think that is the take that will be, said for the rest of our lives.
Can I give you the what's it called? Devil's advocate or whatever? What's it called?
I don't know. What are you trying to say?
To be a devil's advocate, right?
That Debbie Downer?
No, devil's advocate.
Okay.
Like the other side?
Oh,
opposite point of view.
Yeah. So you love the Chargers in LA?
No, hear me out. But you said they'll be irrelevant for forever. Is that true? Or is it just you saying that? Like if Jim Harbaugh brings them to 2 of the next 3 Super Bowls, I'm making it up, or 2 of the next 5 and they win 1 of the next 4, are they irrelevant? I'm asking the question.
They'll be relevant to the NFL world because it's the Super Bowl.
So they're not irrelevant.
After that ends, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, do we know that?
I think so.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a very biased angle.
I also have a deep, deep hatred towards that franchise.
But that's my question. Like, hey, listen, they've never won at a high level, right? They've been in 1 Super Bowl. What if that were to change? Now, you could argue it's not going to change because of the ownership, and that might be right. They may not win for the next 25 years. Very possible. Absolutely possible. But what if they were to, is I guess my question. Would they be embraced if they actually did win at a high level or not?
It won't change anything here.
No, not here.
No, not here. And it won't change anything for a lot of people. So, I mean,
I think it actually would change for some people, though. I think a lot of people. I think if you think that people wouldn't watch the Chargers in San Diego if they were in a Super Bowl, they're already watching. They're already watching. Yeah. They might not be liking what they're watching, but they're already watching.
Rooting against them.
Yeah, but they're watching. It's
because
like all
it's
money is green.
Bowl.
What Chris Russo just said. Hey, they're filling the stadium and they're taking timeouts on offense, but money is green.
There's a difference between watching the product and having relevance, especially in the NFL landscape. NFL is it's bigger than anything. So of course, the NFL aspect in watching the games is always going to have that relevancy, but the Chargers brand is what I'm talking about, which will never be what they envisioned it to be.
Probably true. I'm just saying, what if they won?
If they won, people will watch. But guess what? After it's done, that's it. No one's going to linger around and be like, oh, it's become this and that. Like, no, it's because the NFL product is the NFL product.
70470. Start it with team. Hour 2 from the Naughty Barrel downtown. Kevin Acee is going to join us at 4:30. We have great ticket giveaways for you over the next 2 hours of the show. Happy hour gets underway at 4 p.m. Hour 2, Jon and Jim next.
This update's brought to you by Caltrans. Padres Mets, game 2 of their 4-game series tonight at Petco Park. Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres. Padres are starting to stop their 2-game losing streak, first 2-game losing streak of the second half. Padres, good news of the day, they've reinstated Yu Darvish off the restricted list. They have placed him back on the IL, but he is back with the Padres. He's at Petco Park tonight. Attention California drivers, the kids of Caltrans workers count on you to keep their loved ones safe. So when you see a highway work zone, please slow down and pay attention. Remember that someone's loved one out there. Be work zone alert.
It's time to fire it up for the weekend. And we do it at Naughty Barrel.
It's showtime, folks!
Looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. The countdown to SDSU versus Texas A&M Commerce next weekend. Calling all the faithful to downtown to see the most fired up fans live at Naughty Barrel. 844 Market Street.
Here we go!
Now it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim, Naughty Barrel. What a day it is. Padres and Mets coming up at 6:40. Happy hour is underway. We are at 9th and Market. We'll be here until 6 o'clock. This is the perfect pregame hang if you're going to the Padres tonight or this weekend. Even if you don't have tickets, the game will be on. It's indoor, outdoor. They have everything you could possibly want to eat or drink, including what food special is going on right now, Jim. It's 4 o'clock. The happy hour food and drink specials are going on right now.
I just got a whiff of barbecue that is starting right now. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. is their happy hour. Of course, we're here till 6 p.m. Listen to this. Smoked turkey and smoked brisket sandwiches, smoked turkey and smoked brisket plates, house-made sides, and barbecue sauces include macaroni salad, potato salad, black-eyed peas, and collard greens with bacon and smoked sausage, Texas barbecue sauce, Kentucky barbecue sauce. Come down right now. They're also nominated for Best Barbecue in San Diego in the San Diego Readers Best of 2024. Voting on that ends next week. So go there to the San Diego's Readers Poll Best of 2024. Vote for the Naughty Barrel. If you don't believe us, just come down, have some of their barbecue, and you'll understand why they've been nominated for Best Barbecue in San Diego.
619, Kevin Acee will join us at 4:30. 619 said this maybe 15 minutes ago when I said Darvish has exclusively been a starter throughout his professional career. I said the big leagues, and I'm right because he has. But 619 said, not true, Jon. Darvish didn't get a single start on the champion Japanese World Baseball Classic team.
He also did come out of the bullpen.
A year ago. He pitched
kind of messed him up last year.
I was going to say he pitched exclusively out of the bullpen. Yeah, he threw 1 inning, and the WBC basically derailed the Padres season from the get-go.
I know.
So I don't think the WBC is any type of comp for Major League Baseball. In fact, I know it isn't. It's completely different to that. And I'm not saying it's impossible for Yu Darvish to pitch out of a bullpen. I just find it unlikely. The fact that he's never come out of a bullpen in the major leagues in his career, and now all of a sudden, as a 38-year-old this year, he's coming out of the bullpen in the postseason. I'm not saying it's impossible. It maybe makes sense because maybe Michael King is more capable right now, or maybe Joe Musgrove is pitching better than Yu Darvish. I'm just thinking that I'm putting 2 and 2 together, and the 2 and 2 for me is Yu Darvish is a starter who's been very effective throughout his major league career. And if he is healthy and effective in the stretch run, I would expect him to be starting for the Padres in the postseason as opposed to coming out of their bullpen.
Also, postseason, Jon, I mean, everything's on the table. Like,
kind of. I mean,
I understand,
sure.
and I get it. He's never come out of the bullpen in his professional career in the big
league
leagues.
career, yeah.
But
including postseason.
I mean, everything should be on the table, and it will be on the table. I don't think he'll come out of the bullpen. I really don't. I'm just saying that if you have that situation
sure.
at the end of the year, you can't tell me they're not going to at least discuss it.
Well, they may discuss it. And if it's Game 7 of the World Series, I hope that they're in it. And I hope that at that point, all bets are off and you could throw anyone for any inning in Game 7 of a World Series. But let's just see. I mean, it's like you got to walk before you run. Let's see how long it takes to get him back on the field. Let's see how long until he's pitching in the big leagues. And then let's see if he is fully ready to go for October. You pair Darvish with Musgrove, with Tatis, and I'm taking my chances is all I would say. I don't think it's easy. I think Dodgers are good. I think Diamondbacks are good. I think the Phillies are good. I'm just telling you, I'm taking my chances if these guys come back and are healthy.
Yeah, it just feels like when we're talking to people here at the Naughty Barrel, like it just feels with so many key pieces coming back that not key pieces because they haven't really contributed much this year, except for Tatis, 80 games, right? but pieces that you were relying on for this season coming back healthy. It's hard to envision this team kind of falling off here and having some crazy collapse. Like, you lost your last 2 games, you got your ass kicked. All right, you move on. You hopefully have a good outing tonight from Joe, and you end this quick little 2-game losing streak and have everybody take a deep breath and calm down.
I think it is a big game. I completely agree with you. By the way, Fernando Tatis Jr. is now hitting in the cages on field at Petco Park. He's taking BP at this very moment, per Marty Caswell, San Diego Sports 760. Fernando Tatis Jr. getting loose and stepping into the cage for batting practice at Petco Park. We expected that within 2 days. It's happened within 24 hours. So the official acceleration of Fernando Tatis Jr. is well underway right now. The next we're going to hear about Tatis, hopefully, is when he's starting a rehab outing for the Padres.
Also, Darvish is speaking to the media. It was and is reported that he is not going to answer any questions related to his personal matter and why he was on the restricted list. They're just going to keep it to on-field stuff as well. Okay. So we'll get stuff from Darvish soon here, and we'll hear from him coming back with the team and being with the team for the first time in months.
Okay, so there's a lot. Again, these are the positives. That's why this 2-game thing, to me, the 2-game losing streak, I'm not going to get lost in it. I'm not. And you know us. I mean, if we thought there was reason for concern, real concern, we would tell you. I'm not getting lost in the 2 games. I'm looking at the wider lens, which is 22-8. I'm looking at what's coming in September, which hopefully is Fernando Tatis Jr. and Yu Darvish. Now, do they need to win a game against the Mets here this weekend? Yeah,
nice.
I mean,
nice.
you can't be losing 6 out of 7 or worse to the New York Mets. So you could absolutely use a win here tonight. For whatever reason, the Mets have played the Padres extremely well, so it is a concern. But, again, the short-term 2-game blip, it has not looked good. I mean, it's looked bad.
It's been very bad.
But let's not lose sight of the end goal here or the way they're playing overall.
I'm just going to blame it on that we weren't here the last 2 days.
That's right. We're in Vegas. Our fault.
Our fault. We'll take this one. It's our fault. We move on. And we hopefully get a win tonight. And you can just blame the last 2 nights on us.
On Jim. Oh. All right, let's get to it.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
How would you guys slot a 4-man postseason rotation if everyone was healthy for the Padres?
All right, a 4-man rotation, so this means they will need to get at least to the NLCS. Or no, division series you can do 4, right?
Well,
you have
game
to do 4,
1,
I guess, yeah.
Game 1 is after 3 games. I mean, you'd need a 4th starter.
So they have to get to the division round, what you're saying, because you don't need 4 for a wild card series. All right, so getting to the division round, all things are equal. I'm going.
No, they don't even have to do that because the point is who doesn't start in a wild card round.
Oh, who doesn't start?
You know
in a
what I
wild
mean?
card
Like
round?
who's your 4th starter, or who's your 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order?
I probably would go Cease, King, Musgrove, Darvish.
That's like an order of guys we've seen.
So
I would say
you told me to give you 4.
For me, it's Cease, Darvish, Musgrove, or Musgrove, Darvish, and then King.
Why do you hate Michael King?
I just think I'm going with the experience. I'm going with the money.
I think I'm going with the guy that has a 2 ERA in his last 8 starts.
I'm taking a healthy Yu Darvish in the postseason.
Okay. I'm taking a guy that has pitched
all right,
his ass
you tell
off.
Yu Darvish, who's come back
Okay.
after dealing with this personal matter for 3 months, he's not going to pitch in the postseason.
And you tell Michael King, who
I'm
has had a
happy to
2
do it.
ERA in his last 8 starts and has been the best pitcher consistently for this Padres team.
Same thing about,
he's not
you would have
start
said the same thing about Matt Waldron a month ago.
Well, Matt Waldron is not pitching like Dylan Cease.
But he was a month ago.
Sorry, Michael King.
He was a month ago.
And we all said that Matt Waldron was
I wouldn't have started him over Yu Darvish or Joe Musgrove.
Okay.
Next question.
Which conference will get the most teams in the college football playoff?
3 letters. SEC.
How many?
6.
No.
I don't
So
know.
there's 6 automatic spots.
And then 6
No, there's
remaining.
5 automatic spots, 7 remaining.
Okay. So
They're not getting 5 of the 7 remaining spots.
I could see 4.
Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, name your 6 teams. I'm excited.
LSU.
Okay.
Texas.
Texas is in there, yeah. That's 4. When are you going to get to Vanderbilt?
Is Texas A&M good this season?
I don't. Tennessee, Ole Miss. But again, these teams
Technically,
play
Florida
each other.
State is still ACC this year, right?
Well, they are.
Technically,
I mean, they're
yes.
not in
Okay.
any. They haven't left their
No.
conference.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe I
I think
a little too
4.
high. Four locks, maybe 5.
I don't know if there's 4 locks. I think the conference that gets the most teams in
Big Ten.
is the Big Ten. I think Oregon's going to get in. I think Ohio State's going to get in. I think Penn State is always like top 12 and ever top 5. And then you have Michigan coming off a national championship. So I think the Big Ten could get 4. I think it might be a tie. I think Big Ten could get 4. SEC could get 4. No conference is getting 6. Mark that. No conference is getting 6.
Okay.
Next question.
Who will be the best rookie QB in the NFL this year?
To me, it's pretty simple. I know Brent doesn't believe it yet. Caleb Williams, I think he is going to be the best rookie of all the rookies in the NFL this year. I think he has the best opportunity to succeed of any rookie quarterback because the Bears actually surrounded him with a bunch of offensive weapons. I think it's going to be Caleb Williams. I don't think it's even close.
Either do I. I think Caleb Williams is like, I don't know if he's one of one, but I think he's a special quarterback. And now he's going to have to go do that in a tough place to quarterback, which is with the Bears, and that is with Chicago. But I do think that he's capable of being the best rookie quarterback in the NFL. I don't think it's easy from day one, and their chances in 2025 are, I'm sure, better than they are in 2024. But I think he's got a chance to do some special things as a rookie. Caleb Williams is a great college player, has a special arm. I'm taking Caleb Williams. Next question.
Who will lead the Aztecs in rushing this year?
I was going to take Keenan Christian until his injury, which is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. To me, Marquez Cooper.
Take him anyways. Be a man.
Yes, I wish. If he was healthy. I wish he was healthy. But Marquez Cooper, the guy that was with Sean Lewis at Kent State, the guy that has the best knowledge of this offense and the most experience in this offense, I'm taking Marquez Cooper to lead the team in rushing this year.
I agree with you. Like you said, Christian's going to miss at least a few games to start the year because of ankle surgery. And Marquez Cooper has gone over 1,000 yards in each of the last 3 years, or is it 4? I think it's 3 years. He's rushed for nearly 4,000 yards in his college career. He is the nation's active leading rusher. I'd be surprised if he stays healthy and doesn't rush for 1,000 yards in 2024. Aztec football on San Diego Sports 760 a week from tomorrow. San Diego State, Texas A&M.
Excited?
Commerce. Yes, I'm excited. Absolutely. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I talked to the head coach of Texas A&M Commerce today. Can anyone else say that? Has anyone else talked to Clint Dolzell today? I don't think so.
I've never been more excited for a Texas A&M Commerce game ever.
I agree with
seriously, that. I can't wait. You're gonna get my credential in there?
If you're going, I will. Yeah. Are you in?
I'm in.
You're in. I like this.
I'm in. I gotta see up close.
I know.
Sean Lewis.
Danny O'Neal. Sean O'Neal.
Danny O'Neal.
Danny O'Neal, not Sean O'Neal. Sean Lewis.
Yeah, Sean Lewis. Danny O'Neal. Marquez Cooper. We just talked about. I am 100% in game one,
and I'm 100% getting a credential.
Perfect.
But remind me.
I will.
Seriously, because I probably have to put him in next week. But I can get you a credential. I can get you.
Is that tough? Is that going to be a tough one?
I can get you a credential.
Okay.
You know me.
All
right, Kevin Acee.
You know people.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. When will Yu Darvish be back on a mound for the Padres in the major leagues? We'll ask him coming up at 4:30. Plus the latest here on Fernando Tatis Jr. swinging, taking BP on field at Petco Park. And on the other side, we're giving away 2 free tickets to see Pink with Sheryl Crow in the script Wednesday, September 11th at Petco Park. For tickets and info, go to Ticketmaster.com. We'll give those away coming up next. Stay with us.
Live with the Friar Faithful, kicking off the weekend. We're at Naughty Barrel, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, Kevin Acee is going to join us coming up at 4:30. We are at the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. Make sure to swing by, say hello, get ready for Padres Mets, whether you have tickets or not. This is the pregame hang. Jim is going to have some barbecue coming up within the hour, maybe?
I've been told that some smoked turkey and beef brisket will be coming our way here in the next about 45 minutes or so.
All right, beef brisket within 45 minutes. I'm also waiting for our buddy Rich McGuire, who reportedly has a Panda Padres bobblehead for me.
God.
You are so excited, aren't you?
Yes. That's why I'm here.
You've been waiting like a little kid,
Rich, where are you?
waiting for this bobblehead. First thing you told me, dude, the Panda bobblehead's coming today.
Yeah. Presented
Rich,
by
bro-
the San Diego Zoo.
Rich, if you don't make it here in time, John's going to be a very, very sad little
I'm
boy.
going to be a mad panda.
He's going to be a very mad panda bear.
Kevin
Maybe a
Acee will
sad
join us
panda.
coming
It's a
up
South Park joke.
in 10 minutes at 4:30. Okay, so the latest here, there's two developing stories. Yu Darvish speaking with the media in a dugout, and then Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting on field in a batting cage.
He's ready.
On the field.
Bring them
taking
both back
BP.
now.
So those are your developing storylines. It's interesting how they're like coinciding at the exact same time. You could see Darvish and Tatis rehabbing in the same spot at the same time, presumably, in the days ahead as well. But this has become a lot like this is Oppo 2021. 2021, everyone's hurt. Wheels are falling off. 2024, it's like you're getting guys back. And arguably the wheels are the opposite of falling off because you're still 22-8 in the second half. So to me, this is like, this is kind of Oppo. That's how I would feel today. Late August, this feels like the opposite of what we were going through 3 years ago with that team.
It's the complete opposite.
It really is.
It really, everybody was getting injured, and this time everybody's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main reason why I think both of us feel that the trajectory of this team is completely different. And even with the two losses the last two nights, it's really hard to envision them with the players they're getting back all of a sudden just going in the tank. You know, like I
agree with you.
I just don't
feel the exact same way.
They're too far along in the year to have, I feel like, that happen with all the good and everything they have done in the second half here. Like, even today, you got your ass kicked the last two nights. There's still a confidence with this team that no matter what happens, they're going to go out there and they're going to find a way to win. And I don't think two losses is going to waver that confidence at all. I really don't. I don't at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. My only concern is based on schedule, which is dumb in baseball because it's not like you're the Niners, you got a 3-game East Coast trip. Like every team plays every team is my point. But I don't love the way the schedule shakes out for the Padres. I'm just being honest. I don't. I think they could absolutely be viable in it. I don't think they're going to play 700 baseball with it. That'd be unbelievable if they do that from here on out. And if they play 500 baseball, they're going to be in the postseason from here on out as well over the final 30 or 32 games. That's my one concern. You're 0-4 against the Mets. You have them for the next 3 days. You're going to St. Louis. That's never easy. So on and so forth. That's my concern. I'm not worried about wheels falling off, but that's my concern if I have a concern.
Now, if we're here next week and all of a sudden, like, they've lost 5 or 6 in a row, it's then maybe the tune changes a little bit of like, hey, let's go. We got to pick this thing back up here. Don't fall back into your old ways. But even if that does happen, which I don't envision it happening, the great thing what they have accomplished over the last month here is they've given themselves space and they've given themselves,
I agree.
I guess, margin for error
Mm-hmm.
when that did not exist to start the second half. To start the second half, the thing was teetering of like, hey, you don't have a good 9-game road trip out of the break here.
Right.
Like, this is going to become difficult. And thankfully they didn't. Thankfully they had like one of the best road trips in franchise history. They came back home. They swept the Dodgers. They started August, that 15-game stretch, going 11-4. And you've given yourself margin for error to withstand 2-game losing streaks, to withstand what's happened the last couple nights and have it not feel like the end of the world. Maybe it is if your only goal is the division, But to make the postseason, like if that is truly the goal, which everybody had and started with at the beginning of the year with really no thought of like, hey man, this team's got to win the division, then the last 2 nights shouldn't feel like the end of the world to you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And 2 games is nothing, is a blip. 3 games or more starts to become concerning. Let's be honest. As good as this has been, I just know how fandom works. And you turn this thing into another day, and people are going to start getting nervous again. I just know that's going to happen. And that's why tonight is important. We spent so much time on Darvish and Tatis, rightfully so. They're important for a stretch run. They're hopefully important for a postseason. What's equally important right now in this actual moment is Joe Musgrove and giving you the, 5-6 innings here tonight, leaving with a lead, turning it over to guys like, Jason Adam and Tanner Scott and Robert Suarez and winning against the Mets. Are we asking for that much? By the way, if you go 1-6 against the Mets, you could see them again in the postseason. The Mets are a game out or a game and a half out. You could absolutely be locked up with the New York Mets in the postseason. So go win a couple of games against New York and create some separation from them as well over this weekend downtown.
Because you could really hurt the Mets this weekend if you end up taking the next 3 games, but you split with them, you're not really hurting them that much. And the Mets kind of have gotten a little hot here of late. I mean, the last thing you want to do is be the reason why a team that's looking out gets in, and then all of a sudden they become hot, and you're like, we could have ended this when we played them, or at least put a dent in it when we played them. Instead, we gave them, the start of potentially a hot stretch where they go into the postseason. Like, Mets are outside looking in right now, but they're only outside looking in by what, a half game, a game and a half. So you don't want the Mets all of a sudden to get hot here and turn into a team that you don't want to face in a postseason series.
Completely agree. All right. Kevin Acee will join us. We have updates, hopefully, on maybe timelines for Fernando Tatis Jr. and Yu Darvish. And, of course, we'll talk about the importance of tonight and the stretch run for the Padres. Stretch run about to get underway. We're a week away from September, essentially. So Kevin Acee, he is our Padres insider. He'll join us coming up next. We promise you a giveaway. Caller 5, you're going to see Pink with Sheryl Crow and the script. This is Wednesday, September 11th at Petco Park. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Pink and Sheryl Crow. Caller 5, 877-767-4760. 877-767-4760. Caller 5, you're going to see Pink with Sheryl Crow. Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He'll join us next. All right, hey guys, it's Schaefer, and we have great news for homeowners. We really do. With mortgage rates going down, my friends at Loan Pronto have rates that start with a 4. It's the best rate in years. And listen, your current home rate might be over 6%, and if it is, dump it, lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto has recently locked in folks at 4.99% APR. Maybe you got stuck with your loan within the last few weeks or months. It's still time to call Loan Pronto, even if you're in the process with another lender. Stop now and call Loan Pronto. You can ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next not 1 but 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like the other guys. Call 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
All right, this update is brought to you by Caltrans. Padres and Mets game 2 of their 4-game series tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres. Padres today also reinstated Yu Darvish from the restricted list. They did place him back on the IL, but he is with the team today in San Diego at Petco Park. Attention, California drivers, the kids of Caltrans workers count on you to keep their loved ones safe. So when you see a highway work zone, please slow down and pay attention. Remember that someone's loved one out there. Be work zone alert.
Continuing live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He'll join us in a couple of minutes. Why? Because Fernando Tatis Jr. is speaking with the media right now, and Kevin has been listening to that conversation. I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is done with the media, Brent, so I'm communicating with Kevin so you can give him a call whenever you'd like. So Kevin's going to join us in a moment. What's the update here on Yu Darvish? He has already spoken to the media this afternoon.
He said that the most he's thrown is 2 simulated innings in his time away, so he's still a ways away from his return to the rotation, he says. But he says he feels healthy, and his placement on the IL was, a quote, a matter of ramping up. Darvish threw a 27-pitch bullpen session at Petco Park today.
All right, so he's healthy.
He's healthy, but that also, to me, says he's not even close to ready, and it's August 23rd.
Yeah, but, it's like spring training. It's like that the whole purpose of spring training is to get yourself available for the regular season, being able to go 90 pitches or whatever it is. So let's bring Kevin Acee in here. All right, Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, man. Busy times here late in August. Fernando Tatis Jr., Yu Darvish, both apparently ramping up. Can we start, actually, Kevin, with Darvish, who, in speaking with the media, I guess said he feels healthy and being placed on the IL was a matter of ramping up. So do we have any feel for timing when it comes to the return of Yu Darvish, or even getting on a mound maybe in a minor league game, rehabbing?
It could be that he's on a mound throwing the hitters as soon as next week. Could be, that he could be facing Tatis in Arizona next week.
Right.
That could be happening. As a matter of fact, I'd be maybe surprised if it wasn't. So, but I will say this: like, the Padres are doing their discovery now. Like, over the course of this whole time, and then through today, I have really gotten the impression that they have not known much, that such is their respect of his privacy and, him being a private person and him being on the restricted list. And, he was taking care of his stuff, and they are kind of discovering today. I will say I watched his bullpen, not like in the bullpen. I wasn't there with like Ruben Niebla, but like I watched it. He was throwing everything. So he'll be ready to come back this year, barring setbacks.
And it's a good problem to have down the stretch here. You got, Musgrove back, Darvish potentially back. Michael King's been pitching fantastic for this team. Dylan Cease. We've had this discussion today, Kevin, going into a postseason. You got 3 spots for 4 starters potentially in a wild card. Like, they're not taking King out of this rotation with how he's pitching if this team ends up making the postseason, right?
Right. That's really a fair thing. I think they would hope that they get to the point where they need 4 starters, right? Like getting to the division round. But also, like, that's an assumption, not that you're making it, but that would be presumptuous to assume that King at that point at, 160 innings, maybe, like that he's, raring to go and is your best option, or is going to give you the same stuff in October that he gave you in July and August, because like he is doing sort of the unprecedented. I would say he's pushing, like, that would be pushing past like what Seth Lugo accomplished last year. And it would be pretty remarkable if King was still somebody that you thought, hey, this guy's going to give us 6 in the postseason. Now, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying, like, this is a really good thing, since that is a question.
Yeah, I'd spin it the other way and be like, well, you're not going to keep Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish out of a rotation, are you? If they are healthy, like that's like you said, it's a good problem, but I think it's hard to keep a Yu Darvish or a Joe Musgrove out of a 3-game series if they're healthy. Wouldn't it be, with all the investment you have in these guys and all their postseason experiences?
Sure, if they're at the end of the season, what they're seeing in results and just based on what they're seeing, that those are the guys. You're right. Like, and I mean, like, I'm just kind of marveling here as the guy who last time at this year, like, whenever somebody asks me, like, maybe from another team or something, like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, well, it's never dull here, right? Like,
Right.
And last year, think about the drama that was happening at this time. And then this year, the drama that's happening, like, there's no guarantees. And I talked to some guys today who were like kind of trying to tamp it down, right? Like, hey, we got to take care of business against the Mets because, like, they kicked our ass the last few times here. So, but like, this is like a complete turnaround and a huge boost. The idea that you would have Yu Darvish back in your rotation, and then of course the idea that you're going to have Fernando Tatis Jr. barring setback in a couple weeks, perhaps.
So, a couple weeks for Tatis. I mean, he's hitting BP today. What's the latest with him and his timetable?
The idea is that he would take, face pitching next week. I don't know if that means Monday, Tuesday, probably in Arizona. Going on the road with the team certainly could catch up with them at some time, maybe. But like, if you're not going to bring like pitchers, extra minor league arms to St. Louis. You got those guys in Arizona. You might have Yu Darvish in Arizona. So that's where he goes. And look, like he's had his rest. As long as he's healthy and responding, and this is I don't want to use the word tricky, but like, it's not healed and it was never going to be. Like, it's not 100%. Like, it's still a matter of how he feels. So they need to be smart about it. But the thinking is like kind of a Xander Bogaerts timeline. And that actually went pretty quick. What were there, like 3, maybe 4 rehab games and a couple live batting practices, and boom, he's back on the field. And that's kind of the thinking.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He's with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Padres Mets coming up in 2 hours. And I think you've said that before, Kevin, where you're like, it's not going to be 100%. When would it be? What's required here of a stress reaction or the injury that he had occur in terms of getting himself back healthy? What will it take in the offseason, for example?
It's a matter of what the amount of healing, and I don't know what that is. Is it like, look, my understanding is it still might not be healed, no sign of it on imaging like in February. So is it 80% healed? Is it, look, the guy was playing pretty good with it being, bad. So it's how does he feel and how did the doctors? And obviously kind of the doctor thing, I'm not saying it's cleared. There's more imaging that will come so that they can continue to see, like, hey, got to compare it. It's the baseline. And then it's like, hey, what's it look like in comparison to last time? They'll continue to do that. But like the doctors have cleared him to do this, which is baseball activity. And the significance of today versus the batting cage is like, it's on-field batting practice. Like, okay, guys throwing, 60 miles an hour. But you don't know where those pitches are going to go. You don't know what Tatis is going to swing at. You don't know what movement he's going to make. So, and then tomorrow, probably going to do some defense. Like, so he's being cleared to do sort of like the unpredictable baseball activities. That's the significance of baseball activities, is that you're doing things, you're putting your body through tests that you haven't done before. So that was a big hurdle.
Man, he can't stay healthy. It's just he can't stay healthy, it seems like. But, I mean, if he's back out there, that's the best news that the Padres can get. Moving along here, Kevin, to the Matt Waldron news yesterday when he got sent down. What was their thought process going into that? And when should we expect to see Matt Waldron back with his team?
This is like happens with a lot of guys. And remember, like, the only example I can think of off the top of my head here of a pitcher who was pitching a lot and doing well was Chris Paddock in 2019, where went down and didn't appear in any games, but threw bullpens, maybe worked on some stuff. Now, I don't know. Maybe Waldron will appear in some games. Maybe that'll have a little to, depend on what other pitchers are doing here and how they're doing, and obviously how he's doing. But this is really like a rest and reset is what this is. It's not like, oh, he just got sent down. This is like with not that other guys being options, there's always a purpose in the minor leagues, is to get better and get back here. But like, this is with a purpose. All right, the guy needs a break. And that's mentally, that's physically, and hey, talk about how we're using this knuckleball. Let's look at where your stuff is at right now. And so that's what this is about.
Kevin, what's next for Joe in terms of a pitch count? Maybe obviously Musgrove tonight, he went 63 pitches in that first outing. He went 73 pitches a handful of days ago. He's been effective, obviously, but he's gone 4 1/3 innings, followed by 4 1/3 innings. What should we expect tonight? And at what point are the quote unquote reins potentially off of Musgrove?
When I talked to him a couple of days ago, it's 2 starts from now, probably. Like if things keep going as they have been, right? So like tonight's 85 to 90, right? Like probably closer to 85, but depends on the game, right? And how he's doing, the stress that he's been under. And then the next one is, the 100 plus. And basically at that point, for all intents and purposes, the guards are off. That okay, now Joe is ready to go. With obviously the goal of him maintaining there and giving him, quality starts and being Joe Musgrove by the end of the season.
Should we expect to see Ha-Seong Kim back after his IL time is up here, or what's the latest with him?
It sure looks like it. Don't have like an official update, but it sure looks like it. And look, they did the whole Matt Batten thing and then, bringing up Mason McCoy. Like there was not a lot of certainty about was he going to need 3 days, 5 days, a week, 15 days. So, that's what's happening.
One more, Kevin, from me before you go. Does it feel significant that they haven't yet beaten the Mets? Like, I know they've played great in the second half. They really have. 22-8 is great. Win or lose tonight, they still have played very well in the second half. But does it feel like at some point they're going to have to beat the New York Mets?
Yeah, and yeah. And this is a good test. It's a full series. You're going to see, the pitchers, just like the Mets are going to see. Mets have some dangerous players. The Mets are fighting, they're like, they need these games as much more than the Padres. This is what's fun to me. I know that like fans probably would rather like you're facing the Rockies and the Pirates for the rest of the season. And hey, that's cool. But like, this is what's fun about this time of year. This series seems really dangerous, right? So, this is big.
It could change just the complexion really in the National League, truthfully, if the Mets continue to have this level of success. We'll see if the Padres, though, can win a couple of games this weekend.
What happened with the Padres is amazing. That the Diamondbacks mirrored them this whole time.
Right.
I mean, if the Diamondbacks didn't do that, the Padres are like so far ahead of the other, they're 4 ahead of the Braves. You could also turn the tables on me and say, well, if the Braves hadn't tanked, but like the Padres were practically unprecedented in their success over 30 games, right? And the Diamondbacks were right there with them. I mean, this is really incredible.
It has been. I completely agree. It's amazing how good the division in general has been here in the second half. Kevin, we always appreciate it. We'll do it again next week, all right?
Right on.
All right, speaking of Yu Darvish, who's back with the Padres off the restricted list. He has spoken with the media. You're going to hear from Yu Darvish coming up next. Jon and Jim from the Naughty Barrel. Stay with us.
Live with the Friar Faithful, kicking off the weekend. We're at Naughty Barrel, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, Jon and Jim with you from the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. Padres Mets less than 2 hours away. If you missed Kevin Acee, check it out, sportsSD.com. Over the next hour, by the way, Jim, and we're going to hear from Yu Darvish momentarily. We have Dan and Shay tickets we'll give away. That's September 6th. And we have Dan and Shay tickets to give away. So we'll do that coming up for a show at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. So are we going to hear from Darvish and his translator, or what's going to play out here?
Darvish and his translator on how he feels and physically, and also, hold on, let me pull this up here. Also, has he been pitching and throwing during his time on the restricted list?
How much have you thrown? Where would you say that you are in your build-up in your progression of how much you've thrown?
どれぐらい投げたかと。2回ぐらい打者相手に投げましたけど、この1週間ぐらいはそういうのは投げてなかったです。
Not much the past week as far as throwing goes, but throughout the 2 months, I think I did about 2 live BPs.
Are you still dealing with any type of arm injury, or is it just a matter of ramping up?
ただ今は打者にしっかり投げてないので、もう体今は健康ですけど、なんてランプアップするための。
Yeah, it's just a matter of ramping up right now. I haven't had the opportunity to really, throw against, hitters and all that. So yeah, it's more about ramping up.
Do you feel close to being able to come back?
まず試合投げてないので、まだ近いかどうかわからないですけど、試合投げてみてどうかっていうところ。
Yeah, just have to see whether it's live BP or rehab assignment and see myself throwing the game, and then I'd probably be able to give you a better answer to that one.
How much did you throw today? How many pitches?
27.
Is that about as much as you've thrown? Like, what's the extent of your live batting practice as far as pitches?
Live batting practice?
You said he threw
bullpen today.
No, in the past when he threw his live batting practice.
So around 4:45 for the live BP. Yeah.
All right, Yu Darvish with his translator, with the media, within the last hour down inside Petco Park. I think it sounds encouraging. He says he's healthy. He's not injured. He just has to ramp back up, and he'll know a timeline once he starts throwing more than he's been throwing.
So I would think from a timetable standpoint, what do you think? Like 2-3 weeks tops?
Yeah, I think it'll be less than 3 weeks personally. Yeah, I would guess somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Okay. And that gets you to about
no later than the middle of September, and probably before it.
I mean,
2 weeks from today is September 6th, and 3 weeks from today is September 13th.
Okay. I'm just looking at Darvish back, absolutely. But how much time is he going to have to ramp it up to get to postseason ready, Jon, where they're comfortable with giving him a game 2 starter, game 3 starter?
Would you be comfortable with 4 or 5 outings?
I would be comfortable with 4 or 5 outings.
That's on the table. Because they're thinking the same thing.
If he returns September 13th?
Yeah, but they're thinking the same thing. They're doing it now because if you do it later, you can't do it.
Right.
So, I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Maybe there are setbacks, and then it doesn't happen. But you do it now, make it up. He's on the mound, let's just say 15 days from today, Saturday, September 7th. Then you're throwing the 7th, the 12th, the 17th, the 22nd, the 27th. You've made 5 regular season starts, and I'm not even giving him an additional day. So if he comes back in 15 days, he can make 5 starts. If he comes back in 20 days, he could probably make something like 4 starts.
Okay.
And they probably see that as that's the threshold. Look at Musgrove. Kevin just told us not this start, but the next. He feels as if restrictions are lifted, and that's 4 starts in.
Yeah.
If Darvish follows the same path and makes 5 starts, and hopefully he's throwing 90 or 100 pitches within the month or whatever it is in September.
And truthfully, Darvish is not in the rotation right now replacing guys like King and Cease. He's replacing guys like Waldron and Martin Perez and potentially of Randy Vasquez.
Right.
So in that sense, it's definitely positive. I'm just looking at is he going to have enough time, and how does he look towards the end of the year going into the postseason?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's far from a guarantee. Like,
Yeah.
what am I betting more on? Like Michael King from what I've seen this year, or Yu Darvish and what's going to happen over the next month? Honestly, both have question marks. King's never thrown 180 innings. That's what he'd be asked to do if he pitches the postseason for this team. Yu Darvish hasn't thrown in 2.5 months.
Yeah.
We're asking him to be a pitcher that we haven't seen him be in, a half a season or whatever it is. So both, I think, have question marks here in the second half or down the stretch here for the Padres. All right, in hour 3, we're giving away Dan and Shay tickets, so be with us. We'll give away those tickets. See Dan and Shay coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Much more from inside Petco Park as the Padres get ready for the Mets. Oh, by the way, yes, game 2 of a 4-game series at Joe Musgrove on the mound. So we'll give away those tickets. Get to the Naughty Barrel. Happy hour's underway. Jim's about to eat some barbecue?
Potentially.
Potentially.
Smoked turkey and smoked brisket plates potentially on the way here at the Naughty Barrel.
So stay tuned. Happy hour until 6 p.m. Come say hi before you head on in tonight. Padres and Mets playing game 2 of their 4-game series. We're here until 6. First pitch at 6:40. Hour 3 of Jon and Jim. That comes your way next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Caltrans. Padres Mets game 2 of their 4-game series tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres tonight. Good news for the Padres today. Fernando Tatis Jr. was taking batting practice at Petco Park earlier this afternoon, and Yu Darvish has been reinstated from the restricted list. He's been placed back on the 15-day IL, but he is back with the team tonight. Attention, California drivers, the kids of Caltrans workers count on you to keep their loved ones safe. So when you see a highway work zone, please slow down and pay attention. Remember that someone's loved one out there. Be work zone alert.
It's time to fire it up for the weekend, and we do it at Naughty Barrel.
It's showtime, folks!
Looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. The countdown to SDSU versus Texas A&M Commerce next weekend. Calling all the faithful to downtown to see the most fired up fans live at Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street.
Here we go!
Now it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. We've got tickets to give away to Dan and Shay. We'll do that coming up this hour. That's Friday, September 6th. North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Padres and Mets about 90 minutes out. We're at the Naughty Barrel, 9th and Market. Let's not bury the lead. The barbecue has arrived for Jim to eat. More for Jim than Jon because I don't eat meat. But there's a lot of barbecue. It kind of makes me want to eat like meat.
You'll feel sick.
Show it to the camera. I want to see it.
It's like way off to the side.
Well, you can bring it over.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're watching us on YouTube, by the way, go to our YouTube channel at Jon and Jim. Find us there.
Yeah, you can watch on YouTube.
You can subscribe. Hit that like button. Here we go. It's kind of hard to see a little bit. Let me just get the computer here.
Yeah.
Let me just put it all the way down. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Great this is great.
Look at that. They got some barbecue turkey, got some barbecue brisket, and then you also have some Texas barbecue sauce and some Kentucky barbecue sauce.
What's the difference between the sauces, Jim?
Texas barbecue sauce and Kentucky barbecue sauce, Brent, I have no idea. So I don't know.
It sounds great.
But they taste both delicious.
All right, so Naughty Barrel, happy hour, food
and look at this.
drink. So, oh, my gosh.
Oh, man, we got some drinks here.
We got kombucha.
So people are buying us drinks right now?
I think before they left, did they buy us a drink? I was very kind.
Oh, wow.
Okay. They love us, apparently.
They love us.
Jeez.
They were watching us the whole time.
We should do every show from down here.
I think we should.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I really think we should.
Some of our fans have ordered us a margarita and a kombucha.
I love this place.
Cheers,
Naughty
Jon.
Barrel, you will too. Get down here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Get down here because here's the thing. If you got tickets to tonight, great pregame hang with the happy hour for the next hour. If you don't have tickets, come down. They have a million TVs. Watch the Padres and the Mets. It's a spectacular day. I mean, a lot of days here are. It's truly spectacular. When you compare it to what we just experienced in Las Vegas, where the weather is horrific, you go outside, you sweat.
It's a
disaster. It's hot. It's hotter than the sun.
Yeah.
You go from Vegas to San Diego, and that's like it's a 180. Honestly, it's a 180.
It's so perfect.
Could it be any nicer right now than it is right now?
No, it really could.
It's not possible.
No, it's not.
Get here. We're here.
The only thing that make better today better is a Padres win.
Boom.
There you go.
I like that.
There you go. Then it's literally the perfect day.
If the Padres lose today was awful. They're trying to avoid, by the way, real quick. I know we're kind of e-breaking. So we're at Circa for 2 days, right? We're in Circa Million. Me and Jim are in Circa Million. We have a chance to win truly $1 million. Huge. Like if we win $1 million, I feel like that's a big win, right?
Yes,
that'd be a big win.
It's a big win.
I just saw on my timeline, because I've been talking about Hawaii, Delaware State more than I've been talking about Padres Mets this week.
It's like everything to you is more important than like your family.
Look at this tweet from Circa Las Vegas. In all caps, you're home for Hawaii football. Join us tomorrow for Delaware State against Hawaii and experience every heart-pounding moment in the world's largest sports book. You're home for Hawaii football. You can't watch it, but you can at Circa. I download an app to watch this thing.
How mad are you now that you're not back at Circa?
I would consider going back. Honestly, if I was single,
is the family on the red eye tonight? Then
that's honestly, dude. If I was single and flights are $70,
I mean that's a good flight.
I mean, why not spend is there anything better? Hear me out than watching like a full day of any like March Madness or NFL or college football at Circa? Seriously, is there something better than that? There's not a lot of.
I haven't experienced a full day of NFL there because it's crazy. I haven't experienced a full day of March Madness, but I did experience
your bachelor party,
a full day of like conference championship games.
That's right.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
Full day of baseball is always great. Like every single baseball game's on Circa.
Well, every Padres game is on at Circa.
Yes,
Truly,
it's the
Stadium Swim.
It's like the #1 screen is Padres baseball.
They go with the big screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, Circa was great. We've been telling you about it. We're in Circa Million. You should as well. Get there before the start of the NFL season. The big story today, I think there's two.
Yes.
I honestly, three. One of which is, can you snap a mini 2-game slide? Okay, big story. You don't want to make it 3 in a row. And then the other are coinciding in terms of health news. Yu Darvish is back with the team today in uniform, threw a bullpen, 27 pitches. We just heard from him. And then Fernando Tatis Jr., we've said ramp up so many times today, but as he gets ready to return, he's hitting on field now, taking batting practice. What's the biggest story there? Tonight, the game. Darvish, his potential return. Tatis, his potential return. What's the biggest impact on the season? Tonight as a game? Darvish's potential, Tatis's potential.
I would think the biggest impact on this season right now, I mean, there's a lot, John, but from the three things that you just mentioned there, I'll take Musgrove. If Musgrove tonight.
Okay, Musgrove. Just tonight or Musgrove in general?
I'm just saying, like, tonight is like taking that step game, I feel like.
Yep.
You take that step tonight and you get back on track and you do go out there, throw 85 to 95 pitches, and you give this team 5-6 innings of good baseball. I think for the long run, that helps a lot because he's back out there pitching right now. We don't know when Darvish is going to return. We just don't.
Right.
We don't know what he's going to look like. We have seen Joe the last 2 starts.
It's been pretty good.
Look very good in the limited time that he was out there because he's under a pitch limit. So to me, Joe taking that step and being a guy that you can like realistically count on in this rotation, because you just sat down Matt Waldron, your rotation is hurting a little bit. You need Joe to step up, and you need Joe to pitch well. You slot Joe into the Waldron role, and he's pitching better than Waldron. And you got Waldron. Now you have Cease, King, Musgrove, all pitching at the top of their game, going into September, going into the pennant chase. So to me, I'll take Musgrove.
Yeah, you made a compelling argument. I'm with you. I'm completely with you on that. I think they all have great potential impact. And truthfully, any of them taking off is a huge win for the Padres. If Musgrove is Musgrove from here on out, huge win. If Darvish is Darvish, huge win. If Tatis. So honestly, I would kind of take any of them. If you get multiple of them, you all of a sudden go from, like we've been talking about, like a contender to like a true legitimate contender. But I do think it's probably contingent on like getting 1 or 2 of those 3 players to quote unquote hit over the final month of the season. If we're going to be unbiased and fair and reasonable, are the Padres going to be considered a favorite to get to the World Series if they don't have a healthy Musgrove and or Darvish and or Tatis? I would say no. But I think if you do get them healthy, you could say that they are legitimate favorites to get out of the National League.
Yeah, because this only helps their cause.
Right.
And I think without those guys, they still have as good a shot as any team just because of how bunched up
it all is.
All of baseball is. There's not that one team that's going to win 110 games this year. And really, if there was a team that was going to win like 110 games this season, it hasn't really worked out that well for those types of teams. I think the only team that it's worked out for has been the Houston Astros, who I want to say the year they won the World Series, which was 2 years ago, they were the Phillies.
They got a bye.
They got the bye, and I think they were the 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right.
So that's been the only team in this new format in the wild card where you're like, okay, it doesn't like hurt everybody to have a bye or have the best record in your league.
And yeah, that's the thing. Listen, if you go the wild card route, it can still be all good. Like I'm not going to go into the postseason and be like, you know what? It was great, but now they're a wild card team. I mean, it's still pretty good. And you still
Why even go?
Yeah, you can still do things out of the wild card round, like make a World Series like the Phillies and the Diamondbacks.
For sure. But it should be the same the other way around. You shouldn't be scared of potentially having a bye.
Sitting 6 days.
And sitting 6 days and setting everything up.
I'm scared about that.
I get it. I understand. But that shouldn't be how the sport. People shouldn't be like, don't get the 1 or 2 seed.
No,
oh, my
so
goodness.
dumb. Yeah,
it's dumb. You want to have the best
that gives you the best chance. Yeah, be like in March Madness, if you started the round of 64, the round of 32, like round of 32, like one less game to win.
Exactly.
It seems like a much better advantage. It seems like an advantage, right?
It sure as hell seems like one to me.
I agree.
And with this team getting things going here, you don't have to worry about the whole discussion of, well, who would you start in who gets left out of a wild card series in the rotation? No, you just go into the division series.
4-man rotation.
4-man rotation, there you go. Then you just worry about the slotting of the 4-man rotation.
The only part of me, like now that you've laid that all out, the only thing that to me isn't like ideal is if you have this really nice second half, but you get bested by Arizona and the Dodgers, even with a really good second half.
And you're the 5 seed?
And you're the 5 seed, and you're playing a 3-game series in Arizona. It's like you did all this work. And it feels like they've done a lot of work. You could still play really well, but get beat by Arizona over these next 30 games.
All right, cool. They made the NLCS as a 5 seed 2 years ago.
I know. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like an ideal scenario.
It's not an ideal scenario because 2 years ago you were facing a Mets team that was struggling towards the end of the year.
Right. Arizona would be one of the best teams in the sport at that point.
The Mets were pissed off that they didn't win the division.
Yes.
And they had to settle for the wild card as a 100-plus win team.
Remember, they never had a celebration in their clubhouse because they didn't celebrate the wild card. The Mets I'm talking about, they didn't win their division, and then they ended up losing to the Padres.
Right. So
it's a very weird year.
It worked out for the Padres that year.
Right.
But you're right. This year, a little different circumstance where you could be in the Mets shoes where, you're celebrating a postseason berth, but at the same time, you lost out on home field. You lost out on a division.
That's right.
And you got to settle for a 5 seed where you now have to go on the road to start the wild card series. And then if you get past that, then you have to start on the road again in the divisional round, probably versus the Dodgers.
We have an update from Fernando Tatis Jr. We'll hear from him on the other side. When will he return? You'll hear from Fernando Tatis Jr. directly coming up on the other side. Plus, we're giving away Dan and Shay tickets with Jake Owen and Dylan Marlowe Friday, September 6th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. For tickets and info, go to Ticketmaster.com. Do not call now. We'll tell you when to call. Marty Caswell in the dugout with Fernando Tatis Jr. earlier today. We're going to hear from Fernando Tatis Jr. on his return. That is next. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
Live with the Friar Faithful, kicking off the weekend. We're at Naughty Barrel, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. A lot going on. Padres and Mets coming up in under 90 minutes. It's game 2 of a series at Petco Park. The weather is spectacular. It is a City Connect Friday night. Joe Musgrove is on the mound against the New York Mets. Oh, that storyline.
Oh, yeah.
Just that storyline.
We haven't really touched on that storyline.
Musgrove versus the Mets. But I think more importantly, it's just go get a win against the Mets. The Padres are 0-4, winless this year against the New York Mets. So that, to me, is a pretty significant storyline as well.
Another significant storyline is you played really bad baseball the last 2 games.
Really bad. I mean, the pitching's been 35 hits allowed in 2 games.
19
runs on 35
allowed.
hits, yeah.
I mean, that's not good. And when you scored 4 runs on Wednesday, 3 runs last night, but it was kind of like the 9th inning, whatever.
Both of them were late, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've been out of 2 games in a row.
2 games in a row, yeah.
I say out. There's 3-1 in the 9th inning yesterday. They turned to Logan Gillespie, allowed 100 runs.
Yeah. So
that might be an exaggeration.
I mean, just play good baseball.
Yeah.
That's kind of the number one storyline. I know we have the Darvish storyline and the Tatis back hitting BP and Joe out there against the Mets. But the most important thing is play good baseball tonight, pick up a win, end the losing streak of just 2 games, but still play good baseball because the last thing you want is a bad game tonight. You've now lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And you're 0-4 against the Mets this season, a team that is trying to get in the postseason.
That you could play.
That you could potentially play. What you want to do is do everything you possibly can to keep them out of the postseason.
Yeah, and by the way, if you don't win today, well, you do have stopper Michael King, hopefully, coming up tomorrow. There we go. There's the right attitude. All right, so this is Fernando Tatis Jr. within the hour in the dugout talking about his ramp up. So let's take a listen to this.
So another step. What did this feel like, and what was what was big about it for you?
I felt really good, just being outside with the boys and ramping up. And every day a step closer.
Shelby said yesterday there's a looser timeline with you. What do you feel that timeline is now?
I really don't have specific dates. I feel like that's more of a conversation between the training staff, the manager, and myself and AJ. But I mean, I'm definitely playing baseball next month. That's what it looks like.
How does the leg feel after you ramped up a little the last couple of days?
I feel way better. Every day we ramp up. I get more of my legs under myself. Controlling, I feel a little bit too strong right now. I've only been doing lower body and, resting a lot. So more of coordination and, just getting my legs under myself.
Have you done pretty much all baseball activities now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm only missing throwing to the bases. But yeah, hit BP outside. So next day, probably defense after.
How much work in the cage have you done? I know you've been hitting today, but how much work in the cage until today?
I'm been staying up with my routine in the cage, sitting velo, staying my eyes active. So that way when I come back, it's not that rough getting that dirt out.
You mentioned you ran at 70%. I'm sorry. You mentioned that you were sprinting at 70% yesterday. What do you feel like you need to get to before you can go ahead and really take that next step, or you can even return?
Obviously, I feel like I can play baseball with that, but the goal over here is to get as best as possible before I'm out there in the field.
I'll definitely be playing baseball within the next month.
Next month.
That is the paragraph. I'm definitely playing baseball next month. He's not saying in a month. I think he's saying in September, hopefully less than a month, but next month.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, definitely. From him
When's
directly.
the last time we heard from Tatis?
I think it was the day or a day after he went on that IL. Remember, he talked about his status. Hey, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the All-Star break. We're talking about well after the All-Star break. I think it was that day. He spoke honestly on it in the clubhouse. Remember, he said it was going to be a while.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. So
yeah.
It has been a while. It's been over
10 weeks,
months.
we said, yeah.
Love to hear that. I think if you tell me right now Tatis returns the second week of September, that's great news.
Yeah.
That's a win. I think next week is the big week to get ready to go. And then the following week is getting maybe some at-bats under your belt down in the minors versus maybe Yu Darvish, right?
Yeah.
And then second week of September, around the 7th, 8th, or 9th, you are like, okay,
are you ready to go?
You ready to go? Let's go. We bring him back up, activate him, put him back in the lineup. Then you got 3 full weeks of very important, meaningful games that you'll have one of your best players in that lineup to get you ready for the postseason.
I mean, what a huge day for the stretch run for the Padres. Like when you envision it in your head, when you think about the postseason, they need to get there. But you start thinking about it, like now you're shaping it together in your mind. You're like, you got Joe Musgrove pitching tonight. You have Yu Darvish throwing a bullpen today. You have Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting, taking BP on field today. Like we're seeing that all play out within like a 2-hour period of time.
I know. And it would only make things better if you ended up getting a win tonight.
Yes.
The win-loss column, that's the most important thing of the equation here. And if you end up losing tonight, you don't play good baseball for a third straight game, John, then you're going to start saying to yourself, if you're a Padres fan, like, are we really going to do this again? Are we seriously going to start playing bad baseball after we had the best stretch in franchise history? Like, what?
Yeah, and again, I don't have any particular issue with anything. You know, the shortstop thing to me is probably overrated. The whole McCoy, Wade. Okay, well, Ha-Seong Kim, we just heard from Kevin Acee with us in the 4 o'clock hour. He thought Kim would come off when he's active, when he's available.
And with that,
that's like 6 days.
Great thing to bring up there. Yeah. If that's the case, then I'm fine with a Mason McCoy, Tyler Wade,
5-day platoon.
That's fine. As long as you don't go 0-5.
No, yeah, you're gonna have to win some games. It's not like McCoy, who by the way was on base 3 times yesterday.
He had a good game last night.
He's not the reason why they lost.
No.
I mean, when you start losing games by 5-7 runs, no position player has any impact in a 7-run game.
But if you put a guy out there like Tyler Wade, who I think has been hitless since his time at shortstop,
yeah, maybe in 2 games, yeah,
then you're like, okay, we need to have an upgrade here. Like we can't continue to throw out a no for every night from that position from our shortstop,
right?
Like, still kind of head scratching that Donovan Solano just can't crack the freaking lineup. But
it's kind of like, what's the math on Solano when he's not playing short? You know, like he's not a shortstop,
but they have shortstops.
That's it. They have shortstops. But Bogart spoke to the meeting and said, "I want to play second."
Okay,
or I'm comfortable, and he's hitting the ball well.
And again, Donovan Solano not in tonight's lineup. McCoy is back in the lineup, hitting 9th, playing at short.
What's that?
What's up?
Oh, we're eating this barbecue, right?
No, we're still eating it. Yeah,
yeah. We're just, yes,
we are
enjoying it as well.
Yes,
very good. Yes, very, very good. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not overly concerned about the Wade McCoy thing for a week. All right, here's what we're going to do on the other side. We promise you this. We do have tickets to give away. We're going to do that coming up on the other side, and that is for Dan and Shay. So we have Dan and Shay tickets that we're going to give away coming up in about a handful of minutes. Dan and Shay with Jake Owen and Dylan Marlowe, Friday, September 6th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. For tickets and info, go to Ticketmaster.com. We're at the Naughty Barrel, 9th and Market on this spectacular day for baseball. Mets and Padres coming up in 75 minutes. Happy hour until 6 p.m. Great place to enjoy the weekend in Padres baseball is the Naughty Barrel. 9th and Market, 2 blocks from Petco Park. We'll give away those tickets. We're getting you ready for tonight. We have Jim's back page. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it's Schaefer. What a week we had at Circa in Las Vegas. So much fun. We're in Circa Million. We've been there each of the last 2 months. It's an amazing place for sports fans, for Padres fans. It's got the largest sports book in Las Vegas. It's incredible, simply incredible. And then Stadium Swim, you just got to see it to believe it. 6 unbelievable rooftop pools, massive outdoor video boards. Every single Padres game is on at Stadium Swim. You watch all the games. It's open 365 days a year. Here's the other good news. Circa is 21 plus. There's nothing to worry about other than sports. Speaking of which, these huge pro football contests are back. Circa Million we're in. Circa Survivor is back as well. The combined guaranteed prizes are $16 million. There are 2 ways to win a no rake. Circa Survivor contestants select 1 team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, you can try to beat me and Jim. Make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed. They have quarterly payouts. They have full season payouts. You enter in Nevada, but you can play from anywhere, including right here in San Diego. So visit circusports.com. That's circusports.com for details.
All right, this update's brought to you by Caltrans. Padres Mets game 2 of their 4-game series tonight at Petco Park. Joe Musgrove on the mound for the Padres, 6:40 first pitch. Good news for the Padres today. Fernando Tatis Jr. took BP earlier this afternoon. He said, we just heard from him actually, that he expects to play baseball next month. And Yu Darvish has been reinstated from the restricted list. He is back with the team in the clubhouse, going to be in the dugout tonight. That's a great sign for the Padres. Attention California drivers, the kids of Caltrans workers count on you to keep their loved ones safe. So when you see a highway work zone, please slow down and pay attention. Remember, that's someone's loved one out there. Be work zone alert.
Live with the Friar Faithful, kicking off the weekend. We're at Naughty Barrel, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, final 30 minutes from the Naughty Barrel at 9th and Market. Happy hour well underway. They have it going on for the next 30 minutes. We have Dan and Shay tickets to give away. We'll do that in the next few minutes as well. Let's not bury the current lead, which has nothing to do with the Padres and Mets.
Correct.
It has everything to do with Rich McGuire, our loyal listener and friend, who's been we've known Rich for years at this point.
Yeah.
He's a loyal Padres fan, Aztec fan as well. He's always inside the ballpark or down at Viejas Arena, Snapdragon Stadium. I asked him months ago, maybe a couple of months ago, we saw they were going to do this Panda partnership bobblehead with the Padres. And Padres and San Diego Zoo.
And all you do is talk about pandas.
All I do is talk about pandas. It is a panda bobblehead in a Padres cap. And he's holding bamboo, I want to say. It's very nice bamboo. And Rich, because he's a season ticket holder, was kind enough to provide his bobblehead. This is like a theme ticket bobblehead.
Yeah.
He's given me his panda bobblehead.
So
now he says, is this for your 5-year-old son, Jones? I'm like, no, this is for 44-year-old me. Forget about Jones. So look, this is spectacular.
Open it up. Come on.
I don't know.
Open this
I
thing
want to
up.
be on the auction. In 50 years, nobody opened it. It's worth $5 million.
It's fine. Come on.
All
Open
right.
this thing up.
So this is the Padres San Diego Zoo bobblehead.
Yep. All right.
With the panda. And nobody likes pandas more than
I was just going to get to that. Now, I texted you guys a picture of this a couple weeks ago, and this was John's response. I will go in with a ski mask on and steal that thing. That
Did
is
I
how
say that?
Yes, that was end quote. That was how bad John wants this Panda
This thing
bobblehead.
is awesome.
This thing is beautiful. I mean, this is a spectacular
see that thing.
bobblehead. No, I'm not letting you touch it.
I want to touch it,
dude.
Oh, you just let something blow away.
Not the bobblehead. I don't care.
Let me touch it. Let me hold it. I won't break it. Come on.
Look at that bamboo.
I know. Here we go. See, if you're watching us on YouTube, there's the panda. You see that, Brent?
Yeah.
There we
Great
go.
radio.
Wow. That's a really good bobblehead.
It is. It's a great bobblehead. Anyway, thank you, Rich McGuire. I think this is the luck we need to end this mini 2-game slide. We'll see.
Yeah, everything's good now. Don't worry about tonight. Padres are going to win.
Yeah.
John has his panda bobblehead.
Rally panda.
All is right in the world. We're back in San Diego.
Everything is good.
Everything is great.
Everything's
awesome.
All right, Jim's back page coming up. We have Dan and Shay tickets that we're going to give away on field tonight. We've already seen the lineup. Is there anything interesting in the lineup here tonight for the Padres again? Is it Mason McCoy that's starting for Tyler Wade or vice versa?
It's Mason McCoy, the great Mason McCoy.
So he'll bat ninth, presumably.
Yeah, it's the same lineup as the other night. Luis Ariz, Jerkson Profar, Jake Cronenworth, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Jackson Merrill, David Peralta, Kyle Higashioka, and Mason McCoy. I take that back. Higashioka was not in the lineup last night.
Okay.
Was.
All right. So maybe
But,
that's a bit of a difference.
I mean, still, this has been mostly their lineup. Just to put in Hassan Kim there at the bottom there, and Mason McCoy. Like you said, he's not going to be the reason why you lose tonight if he goes 0 for 4. But
exactly.
what he did last night was put together like a really nice game for this team. It was just unfortunate that things kind of blew up there when Mike Schilt put in Gillespie, and he just.
By the way, I'm doing the same thing if I'm Mike Schilt. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Standpoint.
You're playing 18 and 18. What are you chasing down 2 runs?
Now, Matsui and Morhone haven't pitched in a little bit.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Matsui, okay. That's interesting because, we're not just talking about the big 3. Now we're talking about 4 or 5 guys that have been effective.
I'm not talking about Adam
I get
or
you.
Scott or Suarez.
That's fair, but here's the other thing you got to remember. Yeah, the Padres scored 2 runs at the bottom of the 9th inning. Are they going to do that if it's a 3-1 game? Because the Mets aren't throwing whomever they threw in the 9th inning in an 8-1 game.
Probably not.
If it's a 3-1 game. So if you're Mike Schilt, and I understand what people are saying with the benefit of hindsight, when you're trailing 3-1, you don't typically use one of your higher leveraged pitchers. You're down by multiple runs with 1 inning to go. The odds of scoring multiple runs in 1 inning, again, it happens, but you don't have a high likelihood of winning that game even at 3-1, right? Even the Padres.
So high leverage, you would not use Matsui. You put him in a high leverage situation only?
Well, I think Matsui's typically probably pitching at this point in the year with a lead. Maybe he's not now because he's like your 5th most effective reliever. But does that even matter is my point. So now Matsui throws the 9th inning and throws a scoreless inning, and it's 3-1 to the bottom of the 9th inning, and they definitely score 2 runs then? No, the odds are stacked against them to score 2 runs against the closer.
But isn't the idea to keep it as close as possible?
Yes, in all 162 games. But when you play 18 consecutive games and Matt Waldron's given up 10 runs and whomever else has given up 5 runs, well, yesterday, you know what I mean? You're not getting 8 innings from your starters or 6 innings from your starters every single day.
I mean, I get it. I just think, in a 5-1 game, Gillespie is the pitcher you go to. 3-1 game, I don't know.
If you look at his, that's fair. If you look at his strategy all year long, I think in a multiple run game, he hasn't, quote unquote, chased with a reliever all year. I think in a 1-run game, he's done it. But I think in a 2-run game in the 9th, how many times have we seen Jeremiah Estrada trailing by 2 in the 9th, for example? You know what I mean? Like, not very often. Maybe it's happened, but I'm telling you, trailing by 2 in the 9th is not normally the time you pull that card. By 1, okay. It
was 3-1, John.
Yeah, exactly. That's
how many
big.
Times, how many times did they come back from just 2
in the
down?
9th inning this year? Maybe 1 time they've overcome a multiple run deficit. 1 time, right?
I think
it's not the 5th inning.
I think you lose. I think you use Gillespie when you're down 5-1, not when you're down 3-1.
They activated him.
I know,
because of what had happened the day before.
Okay,
which was you then have multiple guys down.
Okay,
well, you option Waldron, you don't have Sean Reynolds, whomever else you use that day. Again, it's
and I get it.
If you
use Matsui last night, you still lose 3-1.
Yeah.
Then maybe you don't use him today. Maybe you do, but then he's not as fresh as he would have been if he didn't pitch.
And
yesterday.
Joe Musgrove's probably not going 6 innings tonight. I hope he does.
And now with Joe, today, I mean, yeah, you had Dylan Cease yesterday, so you were hoping for a 6 or 7 inning outing. You didn't get it.
Right.
And then today with Joe, I okay, from that standpoint, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Again, I don't think it's egregious to pitch Matsui there. I'm just saying I understand it. I understand going to Gillespie there, try to sneak an inning out of someone.
Well, again,
likely losing the game either way.
Logan Gillespie pitched better. Like,
100%.
Yeah. It goes back to the simple
Absolutely.
point of you got 7.71 ERA this season. You got to pitch better, or else you're not going to be up at the big leagues.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
You're putting that. I mean, and that was an opportunity for Schilt to say, all right, we brought you back up. Go out there and prove that you should stay. Keep this at a 3-1 lead. And he didn't, and he had to wear it. And I'm sure now Mike Schilt thinking to himself, well, there goes that opportunity for Gillespie. Unfortunate, but I gave him that opportunity to go out there and keep it at 3-1, and he didn't do it. So now it's probably not going to happen again where we put him in that situation.
And you are right that I guess if you're Schilt, the more ideal spot is 5-1.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't want your team trailing 5-1 either. So you're in that sticky spot where you're trailing a good team by multiple runs with an inning to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to be honest. I mean, he's not telling the team, hey, we're cooked.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you as an observer, the odds of coming back from 3-1 down the ninth inning, I'm sorry, it'll happen, but it's not going to happen every single day. And then what if you do use someone and now he's down the next day?
Also, too, I know that the odds of coming back in the ninth inning when trailing 3-1 aren't like the greatest in the world, but I also have watched this team every single day this season.
I agree.
And know that a 3-1 deficit, whenever it is in the game, isn't something that they can't overcome.
They've done it in the 10th inning a couple times this year where they've trailed by multiple runs. I'm sure they've done it in the ninth inning this year. I'm just saying that you can have the greatest come-from-behind team in baseball history, and they've had an amazing year coming back from multiple runs down. I'm just telling you the odds still don't favor you in that spot.
I get it.
They favor the Mets.
And it's a difficult spot because, hey, look, you're in the stretch of 18-18. So you got to, manage your bullpen maybe a little differently than if you knew you had an off day in a couple days.
Oh, that too. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah. If you had an off day after Sunday, then maybe you manage it differently.
Or if you had an off day, yeah.
Or coming into the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a real factor. I think that's absolutely a real factor.
And right now in the 18-game stretch, John, they're 3-4.
Right. So 11 games to play there, and they're tough games.
Yeah.
On the other side, what's next? St. Louis?
St. Louis for 4, and then Tampa for 3, and then this weird Detroit series where you play Detroit for game 1. Then you have an off day. But the game 1 for Detroit's on Labor Day, and then you have an off day the next day.
Explain that.
And then
can I tweet that out? I'm tweeting that out at the break. Why do the Padres
maybe tweet out closer to the Detroit series?
I just want to know.
I does it have to do with Labor Day? Because if it did, why not have the off day on Labor Day? But baseball likes to play on those holidays.
My theory. It's that they can't play more than 18 in a row.
Text Kevin that. Ask Kevin. Kevin would know.
I got to text Jason Benetti.
Or Jason Benetti. Or
because
Kevin.
He's calling games
or
for the Tigers.
Whoever.
He's playing the air right now. Are the Tigers playing? They are. I'm not going to text him.
Do you know Jason Benetti's real side note? He's on the Fox NFL crew.
NFL?
That's what I saw.
Well, I know he's their number 2 for college. Where'd you see NFL? What's he doing? He's doing some games?
Like he is part of the NFL broadcast team.
Are you sure it's NFL, not college?
I'm like pretty positive, John.
Really? Hold on.
Just look up Jason Benetti's.
NFL Fox. I didn't know that. Why do I miss everything?
How do you spell his last name?
Benetti. Oh, in 2022, he called his first NFL and Fox game. So maybe he's already been doing it.
Yeah, he's a part of the broadcast crew. Like the
show that to me at the break. I need to see that. Like a part of the different tandems, the pairings.
Yeah, I am pretty sure, unless I misread it.
All right, on the other side, actually, let's give away tickets right now for Dan and Shay. He's on
right
there.
The Fox Sports has announced its 2024 broadcast teams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, college football. My bad.
You're an idiot.
I know.
He's their number 2 crew for college football. All right.
I'm an idiot.
Behind Gus Johnson. All right, call right now. Caller 1. First caller, you've got a pair of tickets to see Dan and Shay with Jake Owen and Dylan Marlowe. Friday, September 6th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info, Ticketmaster.com. Call 877-767-4760. Again, the number to call is 888-767-4760. First caller's got 2 free tickets to see Dan and Shay Friday, September 6th. We're at the Naughty Barrel downtown. We're an hour out. Padres and Mets. Jim's back page. That comes your way next on Jon and Jim. Jon and Jim, and we're coming up on one of the best times of the year for sports fans. Major League Baseball postseason and football season is right around the corner. And with Underdog Fantasy, you can win 325 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats.
Yeah, Underdog Fantasy is super easy to play. Me and John have been playing this for years. Just download the Underdog Fantasy app on your phone. Just play with a couple different players, higher or lower. We've been playing with a lot of Padres players of late, and we've been winning a lot of money.
Go to their mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's JONANDJIM. And Underdog will give you a highly discounted pick to use in your first pick of entry, plus a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Their best offer ever. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JONANDJIM to claim your new customer offer of a gimme first pick and your deposit offer.
Yeah, download the app now. Play with us. You must be 18 plus or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Live with the Friar Faithful, kicking off the weekend. We're at Naughty Barrel, looking at the weekend series versus the Mets. Now back to Jon and Jim.
All right, Jon and Jim, back with you a final time for the Naughty Barrel. I have a good giveaway announcement for our listeners right now for next week. Jon and Jim, that's me and you.
That would be us, John.
We have a pair of tickets to give away to San Diego State's home opener Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The game is Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. This show will give away a pair of tickets, not one day or 2 days or three, but
not one, not two, not three.
You get a car. Monday through Thursday next week, your chance to win a pair of free tickets to San Diego State, Texas A&M.
My God.
Commerce. Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. We are going to have, for every home game this year for San Diego State, pairs of tickets to give away Monday through Thursday of game week. So that includes week 2 as well when they take on Oregon State at Snapdragon Stadium. So be listening. Join us, 3 p.m. hour. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 on Monday will tell you how to win those tickets for San Diego State's opener at Snapdragon Stadium. All right, get to the Naughty Barrel. We're here until 6 p.m. Great place to spend your weekend, obviously, 9th and Market. And right now, let's get to this.
Del Taco, John, is collaborating with famous actor Danny Trejo. You don't know who that is.
Right.
For a new fast food venture. Del Taco has announced a limited-time collaboration with Trejo's Tacos. Del Taco and Trejo's Tacos revealed their joint roasted pork al pastor menu. It features street tacos, loaded fries, burritos, and cheddar quesadillas, all featuring roasted pork al pastor. Also, Del Taco is partnering with them to have drinks as well. The collaboration will embrace 3 new pineapple-based drinks. So the collaboration, you get some new drinks, you get some new al pastor, and you get quesadillas, street tacos. Are you in?
I'm still thinking about the panda bobblehead.
I know.
I'm in. Thanks, Machete.
Okay, good. Brent's in. I can't concentrate.
I know you can't.
Yeah.
So Del Taco
John's just going to go home tonight and just keep bobbing the head on the thing.
He's going to just poke it.
This is going to be on the wrap-up show tonight. I
hope it
you
is.
that. Oh, it'll be on the wrap-up show.
If you had a shelf behind you, could put on that shelf, but you don't.
Kristen won't allow shelving.
Yeah, because you have to do your show from your kitchen table.
Correct.
So yeah, Del Taco needed a little bit of an upgrade, and this partnership I think gives them that. A basketball that was used for Game 1 of the 2010 NBA Finals, Kobe's last finals, has gone for auction, John. The actual basketball that was used.
Well, aren't there multiple basketballs used?
There's multiple, but that's
one of the basketballs in the final game of the 2010 NBA Finals, or just in the finals?
Game one.
All right. How much?
Sold for $38,000. Would you buy
No.
a basketball for
That's a
almost
lot.
$40,000?
It's not signed, right?
No, it's not signed.
It's just a basketball?
Yeah.
Does it have the
It's just
mark on it? 2010 NBA Finals?
Just a used basketball from Game 1 of the 2010 NBA Finals.
If you bought that, would you play, pick up?
You bring it to 24 hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, you guys want to play? Got a $40,000
I got a
ball right
2010
here.
NBA Finals ball.
Yeah. Everyone just throwing up bricks.
$38K sounds pretty expensive for something that's not signed.
Yeah, to me, that's a no-go.
Yeah, it's a no-go.
That's a no-go.
If it was signed, it sounds like a deal.
Starbucks, the fall menu is now available, John. Oh, my God. Pumpkin spice lattes are back. Iced pumpkin spice lattes are back. The pumpkin cream cold brew, iced pumpkin cream chai, apple crisp oatmeal macchiato, the iced apple crisp cream chai, the iced crisp oatmeal shaken espresso, the iced caramel apple cream latte, the pumpkin spice chai martini
Sounds
is on
good.
the menu.
Yes,
I'll
very
take
good.
that. And the pumpkin cream cheese muffin along with the baked apple croissant and pumpkin loaf.
I'm in for most of those.
Does any coffee place in the world have more of a oh my God, celebration for their pumpkin fall list than Starbucks?
Maybe Dunkin'.
No. Okay, Dunkin'.
Maybe
yeah.
Dunkin', but Starbucks is oh my God, the pumpkin spice latte's back. Gotta go get it.
That's right. How you doing?
No. And finally, a 28-year-old man has been arrested following the discovery of what is allegedly to be 5 kilograms of crystal meth in a staff-only area of a Pokemon trading card GameStop in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Also, what just happened?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we're on the air. I feel bad. I think someone was asking if he might be able to have some of our food. Are you taking the food home?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on
That's
here?
fair. Yeah.
This is the risk we run.
I mean, the food looks really good.
I had it covered.
It's very good. Yeah.
Anyway,
What was the thing you just said? I'm a little flustered.
John's very flustered right now.
I'm always flustered.
I
I thought
didn't know what was
thought
happening.
actually someone was asking for my bobblehead. I'm like, no.
Get away from me. It's my
Right,
bobblehead.
Right.
I was talking about
John's about to jump the fence.
No, he's not actually. He's about
I
to jump the
don't
fence the other way and run away. I was talking about a Pokemon card shop in Hong Kong with 5 kilograms of meth being found in it.
How's that even possible?
What would
In
that
the card?
Pokemon be called, Jim?
Methmon. I don't know.
I don't even understand it's possible. It's like maybe in the pack or something.
No,
of cards?
just
No, it was
a,
in the
like,
store.
It's in the store,
Gotcha.
like not in the cards, like in a store that sells Pokemon cards.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Anyway, that's all I got today, John.
Well, what a show it's been. It's been some twists and turns on today's
Yeah,
show,
that was a
but
little twist there.
we didn't know when we woke up today that Yu Darvish should be throwing a bullpen and off the restricted list. We now know that. We didn't know Fernando Tatis Jr. would speak to the media. We now know he's planning to return at some point in September, and we still don't know whether the Padres can snap this mini 2-game slide, but hopefully coming up tonight at 6:40. By the way, reminder, you can join us tonight on the wrap-up show. YouTube, search for Padres wrap-up show. We'll have it for you around 9:30 or so, or when this game goes final between the Padres and the Mets. You got to get to Naughty Barrel this weekend. They've got food and drink and everything you could possibly want. Indoor, outdoor. Padres games are going to be on TV. Even if you don't have tickets, get down to the Naughty Barrel at 9th and Market. What do they have?
So
here,
happy
Jim?
hour is about to end right now at Naughty Barrel. Hopefully you came down and got some food. But starting at noon on Saturday and Sunday until Naughty Barrel runs out, they will also be selling barbecue specials. The smoked turkey and smoked brisket sandwiches, the smoked turkey and smoked brisket plates, house-made side barbecues, sauces, macaroni salad, potato salad, and more starting at noon Saturday and Sunday until they run out.
Sounds good.
I think we're playing music.
I don't think we're playing music.
No, we're not. We're not playing music. Keep talking.
No.
Oh, I hear the music.
My man, Matt Soria. How are you guys?
Oh, Matt, hey.
I hope that's cool. I said it. Enjoy the game because we're on the air. Enjoy the game, guys.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at this.
Yes.
Got the whole crew.
We do have a whole crew here. Love it.
This is great. Oh, my. All right, game 2, Padres and Mets. We'll see if the Padres can again snap that mini 2-game slide down here at Petco Park. We're back on Monday, right?
I would hope so, John.
Yeah, I think so. And again, we have Aztec football tickets to give away on Monday. Join us beginning at 3 p.m. on Monday. We'll give away those tickets to one lucky listener as we get you ready for San Diego State next Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium right here on San Diego Sports 760. If you missed anything today, go to sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. If you're listening to us on podcast, please leave a review. You can find us on social media. I just posted a photo of me with the Panda bobblehead. So find us at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. And we're back on Monday at 3 p.m. Join us tonight for a wrap-up show. For Brent, for Manny, our engineer. Thank you, Manny. And Jim, I'm Jon. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.
Okay, peace out. Bye.
Ciao.